Welcome, everybody, to Movies, Music, and Mayhem. I am your host, Rachel Silvestrini. Welcome back. It is week, who gives a fuck? And I am welcoming this week. It's kind of a weird week because we were supposed to have Kevin Smets on, but of course he is getting ready to become a father. So they are doing some last-minute baby prep. So absolutely no problem. We will be having him on eventually. But in the meantime, I have a very special guest, actually a very special two guests. The first one is going to be amazing, and the second one is going to be more of like a party because it's his birthday, so we're going to be celebrating, kicking off Robert Adams' birthday. But for now, the one and only, my brother in arms,
hey,
the Bandit.
What's up, guys? How we doing?
So, how are you feeling?
It's
Because I feel like you live in that chair.
Dude, like that's the thing, and I went out, and it's one thing to like not go outside to like bars and stuff like that, which I'm okay with, but you know, there's a park close by that like has like little like workout equipment and stuff like that, so you know, like I'll go try and do that, and just my eyes were burning, like I was having trouble breathing, like, and I'm not overly sensitive, I don't really have any allergies or asthma or anything like that, but that's just how bad the air quality is now, so it's just like you can't even get outside to do anything. So I'm just like relegated. I'll like move to the couch and be like, oh, great. This is a different country over here.
It's a change of scenery. Yay!
Right? It's something.
Yeah, Alex and I were actually watching some of his old videos the other night. Like we literally just took a trip down his memory lane, which was like the sweetest, most wonderful thing ever. Like we're watching like his videos of him performing when he was in high school. First of all, guys, I just want to say we did not plan these white t-shirts.
No, we didn't.
This was not a thing. I'm wearing my brand new t-shirt because we both have
nice.
very.
I'm still waiting on my Mark Ellis white tee.
Yeah, this I got at their last tour. Happened to find out that they were playing in San Francisco the day that we were flying in to start our run for American in Paris, and one of the girls, our assistant wardrobe girl, she's also a huge brand new fan. So we found out, and I was like, I found $110 tickets. Do you want to go? And she goes,
oh my gosh,
take my money. No, this was like their last tour. Like GA, $110 at the Orpheum in San Francisco. We were stoked. We literally flew in that day, like got ready, went out to dinner, and like went to the show. And then as we're leaving, like this fucking smoothest thing I've ever seen. This boy starts getting down on one knee, but he starts singing, and I can't remember what song it was because I was a little drunk at this point. But the whole crowd just starts singing a brand new song, and he gets down and proposes to her, and it's like the sweetest thing. Like
that's amazing.
There's like 100 people surrounding them, like singing brand new and like cheering for them. It was so darling.
That's awesome.
But yeah, when we were watching Alex's old stuff, and we ended up watching his Throw In My Shot video that he released.
Oh, yeah. It's a good one.
Which, by the way, guys, go to Marzonia after we're done here. Just open another tab. Like it. He hasn't even gotten 1,000 likes on that thing. Like, we need to boot. Yeah, which is ridiculous. There is so much production value in that. It's not even funny. Like, I remember when he was shooting it, and I was like, Dwayne edited the crap out of that, and I was just like, this is so great. But there's this one shot that he shot in his bedroom, and I was like, where is that? And he goes, I'm like, oh, it's from the window coming to the bathroom because we have a Jack and Jill bathroom, so I only look into his room and never the opposite way. And it was like one of those like, that's not in our apartment, but that's your keyboard.
It's crazy how they can shape the like things just differently, like just like that's almost like movie magic almost. Like it's crazy.
It really is, but I mean, just switching rooms. Like I'll hang out in my room for like 3 days in a row, and then like move to the couch and be like, oh my god,
dude, it's nuts, man. It's crazy, and that's the thing. Like, I've taken like a little. I put a hold on my Patreon charges this month, and so just like yesterday or Monday, sorry, I forget what day it is. Monday, like it's my busiest day, and then just like I didn't have anything to do because like there was no Brad and Jen show that I was running. We didn't like Sabrina's out of town with Brandon, so we didn't do cocktails and casting, and so it's just like, oh, I just don't have anything. Oh, okay, I don't know what to do. Like I didn't know what to do.
Yeah. I love this. Chris Taylor, I love you for that. Funny story. So the white t-shirts are giving them Butcher and the Blade. They're wrestlers for AEW. And actually, funny enough, the Butcher is actually a guy. He's Andy Williams from Every Time I Die, who's their guitarist or bassist. He's the really big dude with the crazy mustache. So we've been on tour together like 3 or 4 times. And then I saw him, like, I knew he like wrestled a little bit, but then I saw him on AEW and I was like, it's my friend.
Yeah.
Like, I know
That's
that
awesome,
dude.
though.
We used to stand in catering lines together. But yeah, so I mean, have you been? I know that you're a huge music guy. Like we've had many conversations. You used to do, what was it, the Jellyfish Jams or
DJ Jellies, yes.
DJ Jellyfish, yeah. And it's, we listen to the same amount of music or the same types of music. Like, what type of music have you been finding yourself like? Have you been finding yourself going just generally towards like one genre of music, or like have you been like switching it up? Like, have you found yourself doing something new lately?
Not really, no, because I'm like, I love listening to music but I'm not a kind of around the house music listener. Like I'm either like watching something or I'm working on something, or, you know, like I'm streaming or like on a show. And so like, you know, when I'm like doing laundry, I'm not really listening to music. Yeah, like I came on, yeah, lots, just all Rebecca Black, man.
But only tomorrow.
Only tomorrow, yeah.
Only tomorrow. Only Fridays.
But no, like a lot of Dance Gavin Dance, like they're probably my favorite band still, and like they just came out with a new album, so I've been listening to a lot of that. But you know, like I'm never not open to new music. But like I just, you know, they announced like the lineup of like the VMAs. I was like, who are these people? Mm-hmm. Now I know. Even my mom sent me a meme that said, now I know how my parents feel when I was telling them about NSYNC and Black Eyed Peas, because I don't know who, you know, Lil Baby and whoever the fuck else, like, and it's so, I was like, okay, you got me there, because I don't know anyone. There was a video, it was popular people talk about dates, and the first person was Billie Eilish, and the rest, no idea, because they didn't have like a name graphic. I was like, okay, cool. Yeah. I'll just take the word that you're famous for something.
Well, I mean, there's all, like, I remember back in the day, like for the VMAs and stuff like that, like I used to be able to name every artist, their producer, who wrote it, like what the intermixing, like the beefs that were going on that nobody really knew about because I worked in the industry. And like now I'm like, I don't listen. Like I got to that age and I was like, I don't listen to the radio anymore. I don't care. No. Like I literally don't discover any new music unless it's like super bands forming. So like, like Craig from Schmoedown has a side band called Drugs, and I'm like, I love them, but they formed like 12 years ago, and I didn't even realize that it was that long ago. And I'm like, how did that happen? How has time gone by?
It's nuts. But yeah, I'm the same. Like I'm so bad with new music. My roommate listens to the radio a lot, so whenever he drives, like we'll listen to the radio. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, and then that's kind of it. Unless I get suggested on Spotify or something, there's really not much. And so I've been like, I have my playlist and stuff like that, and I'll add to it occasionally. But you know, that I'm stuck in my ways, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I actually think that my mom likes my music selection better now, because now I just listen to like 95.5 KLOS, which is like classic rock. Like I grew up on classic rock, and I love it to the soul of me. I think mom's in the chat somewhere. My mom listens to the show. She's so sweet.
Nice.
You met mom, right? When she came to the studios? Yeah.
No. My mom has not come to the studio.
No, my mom.
Yeah.
When my mom came,
sorry. Yes, with the brownies, it was delicious.
Yes, she'll be back eventually. I'm actually super stoked. So the other day I got the email from Southwest that was like, if you book with points, it's 20% off. And I was like, okay. So I called my mom because she's been really adamant about me not visiting. Like I've gone anywhere. Like I'm the cleanest person in the world. And so I called her up and I was like, hey, I want to come visit, and it has to be like in October. And she goes, okay. And I was like, really? She's like, yeah. And I was like, okay, so I'll just come up like a Saturday to Wednesday. And she's like, why only 3 days? And I'm like, well, honestly, I didn't think you were going to say yes to begin with.
Yeah.
But now I'm going up next month from the 10th through the 21st. And I'm like,
oh, that's so nice.
Beyond stoked. It's a nice little, like, it's just up to San Jose. So it's like a nice little flight. And
is it okay up there with all the fires and stuff?
It's about the same as it is here. Yeah. Yeah, like we talk pretty regularly, and I'm like, so is 101 on fire yet? Because if it is, then you're moving down here.
Yeah, it's nuts, man. Like it's just like there's like smoke like in fucking Toronto and stuff like that. That's how bad the fires are. Like it's all over the nation. It's nuts.
Yeah. I love that. I love it when conservatives are using that graph of like the U.S. forest fires, and they're like, "Why do the fires end at the border?" And I'm like, "They don't. It's just the U.S. fires they're keeping track of." Like,
yeah, like you know, because the graphic says U.S. fires.
Yeah,
and that's what's on the graph.
It's just border to border.
Yeah,
like that's it. Cool. Like, good to know you can read and comprehend.
Oh my god, it's ridiculous.
Read a past third for the fourth time. But anyway, yeah, I found myself recently going back to like the early 2000s hip hop and just like really enjoying that.
Dude, it's so good.
So
That's what was so great about DJ Jellies, and that's what I miss most about it. Was that we'd have like a themed night, and then someone would play like Nelly Hot in Here, and that's a song you fucking hate that song because it's overplayed, but you haven't heard it in 10 years, so you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like someone played, what was it? Someone played like there's so many songs that got murdered on the radio just once an hour every day, and you hated them, and just you hear them, you know, out of just randomness, and we had it on shuffle, so you don't know what's coming next, and it was so great. And so like I missed that night so much because we'd have so much fun with the themes, and even if there wasn't a theme night, it'd be even more random, and it was amazing. I am glad because the last night we had was our fundraiser for Breonna Taylor's foundation, and that was the night like we raised a lot of money, and we had so many good songs. So that was the way to end it, because literally by the time next week, that was when Twitch did their DMCA, their copyright stuff, and I was like, well, I'm not going to risk it. So I had to go back and delete all the clips and everything like that. So I definitely do miss it. And just like what people would bring to it, like what we would discover about people, and you know, just talking about each song as it came up. But I'm glad that was, if there was going to be a good send off, it was that one for sure.
Well, first of all, I loved DJ Jelly because I would literally just put you on and like dance around my apartment and like finish projects or whatever, and like it was just so much fun because it was like, you know, you never knew it was playing, but it was all good, and it was all just good. Like all reminiscent, but also like. Fuck you for being so humble. Guys, if you didn't know, Ben and everybody raised over $11,000. Like, that's insane.
It was literally, because I remember, because I set the thing at $400. I set the donation goal at $400 because I didn't know how it was going to go. Because that's usually about how much, like, you know, it's $1 per song, you know, $5 for a video, stuff like that. So that's usually how much I'd make it a night. It's like $400, which is great. And, you know, 400 songs or something like that. Like we'd be there till like 2 a.m. There's plenty of nights where I'd be like, all right, guys, it is 2 a.m. and I have 60 songs left. We're going to do a part 2 tomorrow. No one's going to request anything. We're just going to listen to songs while I play Fortnite or something. And so it was so ridiculous. And if you go back, like I was looking, you know, later in the night, and just like at 5,000, I was like, what is happening? And that was when like Winston came in. He was like, what is going on? Mm-hmm. And then the fact that like we got to 777 and people were making me like take shots and stuff like that. And it was insane. And then, you know, I was so mad because at the time I didn't have specified alerts for like different donations like I do now. But it was almost a good thing because I'd get just like a cha-ching for $1, and then I got 2 $1,000 donations that night. And then because I would get cha-ching and I'd be like, ha, and I'd look over and I'd be like, like that's what happened. And it happened like 2 times in a row. And it was just insane. And like people were so generous. Like I said, I was going to be matching subscribers. So I got up to $500 from my own money. And I was like, guys, like I have to tap out. Like, cause I'm willing, because you guys have given so much, but I just can't. And like people just kept donating. Like Brandon Hanna came in and donated a few $100s. Like it was honestly so humbling. And I had no idea that was going to happen. I had no idea that was going to be that kind of night, but it just kept going. Like we started at like 2 p.m., watched the Schmoedown match, I think, or something like that. And then just did DJ Jellies the rest of the night. And people were putting in, I think the last song was Formation by Beyonce was the last DJ Jelly song. And it was by accident until I saw the last 3. there was, I can't remember what the other two were, but there were 3 songs, and we were celebrating Black artists. We were listening to soul music, hip hop, R&B. One of my patrons from Australia was putting in Aboriginal music, and it was gorgeous. And then one of the last 3 was Beyonce Formation. I was like, all right, no more shuffle. We are ending with Formation. And it was so fun. It was such a great night.
That's amazing. I mean, the generosity of this crowd, like, just continues to astound me. And just like I have a very aggressive form of love, if y'all hadn't noticed. Like, I'd rather tackle you than like hold your hand, but tackle you with love and a big hug that, realigns your spine. So like just seeing that come from everybody, I just wanted to punch my hand through a wall and just be like, I fucking love you guys so much. You're the best.
It was like I had no words. I honestly I didn't know what to do, because like I had no idea that was gonna happen. So it was honestly insane. I couldn't believe how that happened that night. Like, and I'll never get over it. And then like even my bank kept calling me because I kept like donating, because I'd have to do like $2,000 a day, and that's why I kept posting about it, because I wanted people gave me this money, so I have to be like upfront and be like, hey, I didn't just take. Well, one, PayPal locked my account. PayPal locked my account, and I had to like prove. They're like, what business transactions is this for? It's like, this wasn't like this is for a charity. Like, this is what was going on. And so I was going back and forth with emails and like customer service and stuff like that. And they finally unlocked it. So, and then I was just like trying to get rid of it as fast as possible. But it took me like an extra month from when I got all the money to when it finally all left my account. It was nuts. Yeah.
I mean, it's nice that they have those put up in those I can't even word it today. Like those
like the safety measures. Yeah.
Like, it's nice that they have those in line just in case something happens and somebody's like actually just tapping into your account and like laundering money through your account, and you don't even know. The next thing you know, the FBI's at your door. But yeah, I mean, come on. It's literally a fundraiser. Like,
I know. And like,
here's all the information. Just let me give money.
And I was very patient with them, and I was just like, I just don't know. Like, I mean, just unlock it. Like, and I'll get it out of my, like, they're like, well, do you want, like, you can still like receive? And I was like, I don't want to receive. Like, one, everybody just spent their money. I'm not going to get any more donations for a while, and that's okay. But can I this is for a good cause. Let me do a good thing. Like, it was the fucking worst. Like,
being a good person is just terrible.
Oh God! Next time I'm just gonna keep it. Jesus,
such a pain in the ass, right? God. And a 10% fee for me for all the bullshit I went through.
Well, that was the thing, is that like it was $11,111. Like, exactly, like people had to make the 111, and PayPal takes a cut of that. So by the time I had $10,700. They took $400 off the top. And so I was like, all right, you guys already took your fucking cut. Yeah. Like, I get it. It's bullshit, but I get it. But now, like, I'm going to make up the $400 because people donated that. So I'm already giving $1,000 of my money. So let me just like unlock the money. Like, you're already taking your fucking, so you made sure to take your cut before you locked my account. But now it's a problem that I'm trying to do this thing. It's such a fucking pain in the ass.
Well, that's gone and done, and it was such a wonderful thing that you did and everybody else got to do. So, I mean, kudos and wonderfulness. How do you feel not having to study right now?
It feels good. I know I'm going to be ready for next season. And, of course, like I said, I was going to have FOMO for the singles tournament. I do. I know I'm going to have FOMO for the teams tournament. I will. But I studied pretty hard for the Inner Geekdom stuff. I studied pretty hard for our match as well. So I mean, it's almost like 50-50, where it was like, like I'm relieved that I don't have to study, but then also I'm like, God, like I'm playing along to these matches every week, and I'm just like, come on, y'all. But yeah, like the like Liz Shannon Miller's SNL questions, like, holy shit, dude. Like that was insane. That was like
I tried to control my face so hard, and it just like that was me under control, guys. So if you go back and watch that, literally just watch that portion. Just watch my face. There needs to
be a shirt. Like we've been saying it all season. There does need to be a shirt that says "I wish I got those questions." Yeah. There needs to be a Schmoedown shirt because it's the story of everyone. Like that's how every match goes. That's how every match you don't play goes. And Liz just doubled down and beat Chance. So I mean, she is you lost to a player. You did not lose.
I only lose to players. Like let's look at my record. I may be 0-3, but I lost to Paul Preston, who is a beast. I lost to Roca, and I lost to Liz. Like there is an asterisk next to that 0.
Yeah,
like
it was a tough first round matchup for sure.
Yeah.
And just God, and then even who got it yesterday? It was Spike Lee. Warfather got Spike Lee, and I was surprised at how well I did with Spike Lee. But I mean that's the story of every Schmoedown. Like you always want someone like somehow the questions you don't get are always the questions you know, and nothing you study for ever comes up in a match.
Which I kind of like not filming 5 matches in a day because like it's always like you're doing so well playing against everybody else's matches, and then your match comes along and you like tank, and you're like, but I was doing so well. Like I think after
that's why I made sure not like I was because I still work during the shooting days. I was like I just want to play first. Just let me play first because I won't be able to focus. Like I don't want to like watch other people's matches and stuff like that. So I'm glad we've always gotten to play first in the morning and everything. So I'd rather do that than like wait around all day.
Same, which is why I was like, oh, we have to play first because Ben's working, and if we don't, we're not like it's silver lining. But no, I remember after I played Roca, like I went over and stood next to Christian during the next match, and I was playing along to the round 1. He goes, "How'd you do?" I'm like 8 out of 8. And he goes, "Why didn't you do that during your match?" And I'm like, "You can go fuck yourself." Like I love you, but
dude, it just happens, man. Like like even we saw it with Jader. Like he got a perfect round and then got 1 point in 80s. But I know Jader studied his ass off, so some other 80s questions like he'd get them. He'd get them for sure. And so it's so random with the questions you're going to get. And, and you never know. And it's great. That is like a part of the game. But I do think people do forget that yes, it is very knowledge based, but sometimes it can be luck based too. Not just with the wheel spin, but even if you get a slice, like we've seen people get spinner's choice and still not do great.
Yeah,
not do good at all.
Liz got spinner's choice against me, and I'm like, look, if you can get spinner's choice and lose with that much of a lead, like you deserve to lose. Like you should win at that point. The way that everybody's playing, if you get spinner's choice, you should be guaranteed to win. Like that should be.
We've been seeing it, man. Not with spinners, but with opponents. Like opponents has come up. I haven't watched the Perry Riley match because I've been busy. I
haven't either.
So I don't know if opponent's choice came up today. But all 3 matches this week, opponent's choice has been spun, and that's been it. That's literally been it. That's been the entire match. Mark Andreyko and the Kid went toe to toe. Tom and Jader went toe to toe. Chance and Liz went toe to toe, and then that's what it was. It turned out, and that's how it goes. Honestly.
Yeah, I never thought I'd miss that shitty big giant 10,000-pound wheel.
Oh my God.
Now I am like, if I get to see it, I'm just gonna kiss it.
We had.
I don't even care. That thing is. I want my hands on that wheel so badly. I can't wait for next season. But it's gonna be interesting next season because
it is, and I'm excited to see it because I think it's gonna be a little bit of both. With people like Jader and people like I always give the example of Andrew DiMolanta because he's only Star Wars. He's a great player. But, it's easier just to do an online Star Wars match. If they want to do it live on Twitch, that'd be a lot of fun. We saw how well that went. But it's easier to fly. It's easier to do that than fly someone out for, one match from Orlando to LA. That's just the reality of it. And, of course, Andrew wants to play in studio like everyone does. And we've seen that a lot of these new players and people that don't not get stage fright, but everyone gets nerves up there. People have been overperforming and doing really well, just playing in the comfort of their own home, and other people have not been. People that live for the lights, people that live for the applause, the gas, the laughs. sometimes they've been struggling.
It just feels so different. Like I don't like playing from home. I don't like it. I like being with my friends. I like being able to like sit next to you and like talk to you. And like there was that first match where like I started freaking out and you literally just like reached over and put your hand on my leg and like that instantly calmed me down. Like I miss being able to look out into like the crowd and see people who I love like look at me and be like, "You're okay. Just breathe."
I did that with Sean's match. Sean's Star
Yeah.
Wars match. He missed his first 2 questions, and I just went like, I was doing the timer, and we looked at each other, and I was like,
Yeah.
like I just did that, and he nodded, and then he got the win. Like I'm not taking credit for the win. Sean's a great player, but like he was told that day, like him and Jill were driving to the studio, had to turn around, get his study binder, and study on the drive up. And so, like, you know, of course he's going to be nervous. Like day of, he gets the call, like, "Hey, do you want to play today?" Of course, you're not going to say no. But I was just like, dude, you've got this. You have the knowledge. Just breathe. Like, that's all that it is. Like, you just got to breathe. And so, yeah, there definitely is a big, big difference. But we see guys like Adam Collins, like who have played in the fan leagues, has great knowledge, and is just playing from home in his comfort zone, just TKO'd Roca. And so there is that advantage for sure.
Yeah. I mean, Roca's because Roca barely pulled it out against me in round 1 last year, and he didn't pull it out against Collins in round 1 this year. So it's very interesting for Roca, but he is like an amazing player. So
yeah,
but yeah, it's just nice to like not have to watch movies and like take copious notes and like fill out all of my spreadsheets. And I'm just
actually
like
watching TV for the first time in forever.
Oh
like
God.
Like I'm halfway through Cobra Kai and stuff, and I'm like, oh, this is nice. I can just like half pay attention to something, not like, oh my God, she was wearing a blue dress and she poured green tea into a black coffee mug. Okay, got it.
Right. Oh my God, all the note cards, all of that. Yeah, no, I'm part of a TV show review show for The Boys with Larry and Chris and my brain just broke. Who else is on that? Justin? No, it's not Justin. I'm so sorry. My brain is. I can't remember.
I don't know, same names.
Chris? There's a Chris in there somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is Chris, but no, it's Jader, Larry, and Chris. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
But it's
Good
it's like
guys.
this. It's so much fun, but like it's so nice, like having that freedom of like knowing I don't have any matches for the next like 3 or 4 months, and like not knowing I don't have to study every second of the day. Like I'm helping everybody else out, like. And running quizzes and training and stuff like that for everybody who's still competing, which is so much fun. It still keeps me on my toes, but like I'm not having to be in that mode every day of the week anymore. So it's
and like you're gonna watch movies and you're gonna remember like, you know, some plot points and who's in it and stuff like that, but you're not like, you can enjoy it more, honestly. Like, and I still love watching movies, but you do view them in a different light. And because like you just see certain things and you can tell where questions are going to be asked and like where someone's going to pull from.
Yeah.
And especially now with these 5-pointers, like these writers have done such a good job with these 5-pointers. And so like they are switching it up a little bit of like what you got to look for, like what you have to pay attention to. And I love it. I love because like, you know, like people like Ben Bateman have like broken it down to a science of like, because not that Ben doesn't watch movies, but he definitely like reads IMDb more than that. And so he's like, okay, this is what I have to look for. And now like they're kind of throwing that out the window. Like, no, you're going to have to watch the movie and you're going to have to like pay attention to certain things. And I love it.
There used to be a formula to it, and it was very in place and it was very adhered to, and like it wasn't spoken about. It was just one of those like, if you notice it, like this is the pattern. Yeah, you know. And so now I'm wondering if those outlines are going to be in what did you see that we are finally getting a new? Oh, well, you were on SCN. Yeah, we're getting our rule book finally.
We're getting our rule book, and I'm really excited for it to see like what it does. And I want to go back like to it, like, and I think that's like Christian has talked about it, where it's like it's gonna be like the heart of the knowledge. It's not gonna be these ticky-tack challenges. And I like that. I do want right answers, like, you know, like what happened in Jader and Tom's match where the Sin City question, where it's like Robert Rodriguez directed. No, Frank Miller, Robert Rodriguez, and Quentin Tarantino guest directed it, which is on IMDb. It's on the cover of the fucking poster. Mm-hmm. And so like there's going to be those things where it's like, well, you didn't name all of them. You aren't wrong, but you need to be more right.
But
and
also,
maybe that.
But also, was the question asking for all of the directors or just name a director? or name
Well,
the
it said
director.
name the director, and it
See, that's a little misleading.
it is, but
So
but it's like saying like
gonna have to be battled out.
Yeah, it is. And so, but I don't think anyone would have gotten that question wrong, but maybe there would have been a different question.
Yeah.
But then, like the challenges where it's like, oh, Sam's challenge can't take my eyes off you, not off of you. It's like, guy, like, do you really want someone to win the title off of? Come on. Like, Dan knew the answer. It was literally fucking him and Mara's song. Like, that's insane. Yeah. And I love that Liz's question was like, Tank Girl was like her cat's name. Like, I love that. That's what it's about. It's like there is some luck involved, but it's also about just loving movies. And I want to get back to that more than like who can study the most facts.
Yeah.
And like when it comes to Star Wars and inner geekdom, like the Star Wars question, like Ace, what was the parking ticket that they got in Last Jedi? 1, kiss my ass. 2, yes, if it's ABCD-123 and they say ABCDE-123, that's wrong. That's wrong because that's the thing. But when it comes to other things like Sir Lord Attenborough, but I will respect Bibbs where like people are like, well, Sam should have challenged this, but I hate Bibbs's challenge. Like, no. If you want to be that ticky tack, it's a blanket statement. It is you cannot pick and choose because you don't like a competitor more than one.
Yeah.
You want this detailed challenge? All right, we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
And the fact that the writers have like kept surprising us with 5-point questions and round 1 questions and round 2 questions, and they're doing 4 matches a week in this whole tournament, and they got the teams tournament, Inner Geekdom, and like they are absolutely killing it. And if they do make a mistake like the Sin City thing, it's fine.
Yeah,
it is.
I don't even think that was a mistake. I think
it's not even really a mistake. They asked for the director. I probably would have said Robert Rodriguez. So if you challenge me, then that would have been a fair challenge because I know Frank Miller and Quentin Tarantino helped direct, but I would have said Robert Rodriguez because that's what everyone says.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just, and we all know that we love our Schmoedown. We spent enough talking about it because it's such a big part of our lives, and we will never, ever. I know that none of the competitors will ever be able to just casually watch a movie ever again throughout the rest of our lives without casually being like, oh, I remember that question. Or, oh, that would make a really good question. Or, wow, I need to pay attention because they're going to ask that.
Oh, man, like, that's my favorite thing is like coming up with 5-point questions, like, and like testing each other about it.
Oh, yeah.
But and that it goes back to loving movies. Like I always go back to the 3-way match between Roca, Dan, and Mark Riley. And like they all get like a round 1 question wrong and it's for a belt and they just like laugh it off. And I know the game has changed and I like where the game has gone. I'm not complaining about that, but it's like loving movies and that's what it's about. It's like, you just have this knowledge, and granted, now you can't just have the knowledge. You have to have the knowledge and study, because otherwise Bibbs would never lose, because Bibbs can forget more about movies than we can ever fucking study for. And that man is an encyclopedia. But he still lost matches because he might just have like the different knowledge, or like, you saw in Whitney's match, because Whitney has that same thing where he was thinking of like the TV Peter Pan, like the movie TV Peter Pan, and not the original Peter Pan. Or I can't remember what the question was, if it was like Captain Hook or Robin Hood or something like that. But I love that kind of stuff, and that's the beauty about Schmoedown. I love it.
I think one of my favorite things about it is when somebody gets asked a question and they just immediately start smiling because they're so happy and they love that movie so much, or that actor or that director. And it's just like anytime I get asked about Kevin Smith, I'm just like, I love this question. It's so good.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I want us to get back to. I still love the competitiveness because I am a massive, like, I'm hugely competitive. I want to win all the time. I don't, but I still want to. And like, that's the fun of it, is that we're competing against the best in the world. We're, the best of the best. People in the industry are still losing these matches, which is nuts. Like, it's such a high caliber of play, but like, there's still that love and respect. And like, I'm really glad that we're kind of, we've swung so far one way. I think we're kind of balancing out a little bit, and everybody's kind of being like, okay, we were super competitive. We're still going to be competitive, but we're going to have fun with it because this has to be fun. So if it's not fun for us, it's not fun for the viewers.
And that's why I love doing the exhibition matches. Like, and I have fun with, video Drew and Eric have like brought up, and I love like those one movie matches where it's like, it's all plot detailed. It's like,
video
how many
matches?
times have you seen this movie? And that's what I love. It's like like we just did the From Dusk Till Dawn movie, and I was like, oh, I love this because like it's like fun little facts you don't think of. Like what did Selma Hayek name George Clooney as a dog? It's like Spot.
Spot.
Like, that's such
I literally watched it
fact.
today.
Yeah.
Literally watched it earlier today.
And that's what I love about like just like it's like a spin-off of Schmoedown, like a very respectful one where it's like, oh, just how many times have you seen the movie? Do you love this one? Like maybe you haven't studied it, but like when you hear these plot, you're like, oh yeah, that does happen. Yeah, I got this one.
Yeah,
it's great.
You're like I've seen this movie because I've seen this movie 1,000 times because I love it and I know every word, I know every nuance of every voice. Like I can literally like I can do Emperor's New Groove in 5 minutes for you with all the voices, all of the acting. Like I don't care. I love that movie so much. I'm actually trying to find somebody to like compete against me for the Video Chronic.
It'd be fun.
I don't think anybody will
in there.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's one of those things. It's like when they're like in Emperor's, like what movie has the phrase like we didn't order any triplets? I just started laughing and like screamed out the answer.
Such a great question. It's so ridiculous.
That movie's just so great. But moving on to something completely different, just complete non sequitur. How much have you traveled the US? Because I find that to be like really fun to like talk to people about. Like where have you gone?
Well, I went to New York for the first time this year for Schmoedown, which was pretty fun. I went to Orlando last year with the Schmoedown, and I got to go to Disney World. And I went to Atlanta. And then I was on the Houston ticket, not Houston ticket, but like for the crew for Houston. And I was going to go visit my family. But other than that, like, you know, I've been to Arizona, I've been to Vegas. But maybe some, like my parents say, like we visited the Grand Canyon when I was a kid, but I don't remember it. But so like, I'm not, and I don't like, I want to go to Chicago. I want to go to Nashville. Like I do want to go to these places, but I honestly, like, I don't have that travel bug. Like everyone's got that, you know, like catch flights, not feelings. Like I've never gotten that travel bug before. Like I'm never like, oh, I just got to go somewhere. Like there are places I do want to visit. And, you know, I want to go to New Zealand and visit, you know, the Shire and stuff like that.
Because you are the world's largest hobbit.
I am the world's largest hobbit, you know. I'm going to play basketball. There's a Hobbit basketball league. I dominate it.
God, can you imagine if there actually was? I would be so happy.
Oh, that'd be pretty great. But yeah, like I'm not like afraid of flying, but I definitely don't like it. And like our flight to Orlando was the roughest thing ever. Like Dan and Mara were sitting right in front of me, and it was really before I knew them. Like I'd met them at the studio once or twice, and I'd had a few conversations with them, but we were both like looking at each other like this fucking sucks. Was
it direct?
Yeah, it was direct flight.
Okay. So you guys went through the southern region, like over Texas and stuff. Oh yeah, that gets super bumpy. I'm sorry, I have to answer this question, guys. Yeah. So if they asked how many dicks Dante's girlfriend has sucked, 36 or 37 be acceptable answers? No, 37 is the acceptable answer.
37.
If they asked how many before Dante, it's 36. It's 37. He's 37.
He is 37. She has sucked his dick.
I'm 37. Yes.
Yes.
It's 37. There is a very specific answer for that question, depending on how it's.
Man, that'd be the greatest movie quotes question. Is like, what was the last line Dante said to his girlfriend in Clerks?
Better not suck any dick all the way to the parking lot. I mean, it's not the last one, but that's his exit. That's the last one of that conversation. But yeah, no, I told you that I screamed that at Kevin Smith. Yeah,
at Comic-Con.
Yeah, no, at in Vancouver.
Oh, in Vancouver, nice.
Yeah, he was. They were doing their last day of exteriors for Supergirl, and he like walked away. And before my brain kicked in, my mouth screamed out, "Try not to suck any dick on the way to the director's tent." And he like stopped in his tracks and turned around and looked straight, like didn't even look at anybody else. Like knew it was me. Wow,
he knew.
And I was like, "Oh God, please laugh, please!" And he started cracking up. I'm like, "Oh, thank God!" Like it was
just, man, like
so wonderful.
He's just such a cool guy. He's such a cool guy, and I mean, like people that like hate on his movies and stuff like that, I find so strange. Like you could not like his movies, but if you had the opportunity to like make it big in Hollywood and just make movies with your friends and like have fun and like have complete creative control over everything, like you'd never say no. You'd never say no.
I don't think anybody has had more control over the quality and content of their own work more than Kevin Smith has had.
It'd be a tough, like I'd have to do some research, but it'd be a tough argument to make, honestly.
Yeah, like I would
especially
probably
for what now going on 25 years, almost 30.
Yeah,
like it's crazy.
It's nuts. I mean, Mallrats, this year is the 25th year anniversary for Mallrats. 25 years, like that's fucking nuts.
It is, and like it's really like it's exactly, you want to make a small movie, you want it to be big. You want it to be like, it's one thing for it to be big. It's another thing for it to be a cultural staple. And like just to people, and I don't want to make this like general statement, but we are so spoiled with geek culture nowadays that Comic-Con is this big, huge event, that geekdom is mainstream, that the biggest movies in the world are superhero movies. That was not a thing. No. Even people older than me can, like people like Roca or even Mark Ellis can say like, we got maybe one comic movie a year and we got lucky. And that's very true.
And they most of the time not the best.
They were not great. Like you can love, Batman 89 and, Batman Returns and The Shadow and The Phantom. You can love them for those nostalgic reasons, but objectively they're not great movies.
Yeah.
But now we're getting like the best directors and these A-list stars and like $200-300 million budgets and midnight showings. And it's amazing. And like, I just want people to thank God that Comic-Con is what it is, not a few nerds in a convention hall at the Holiday Inn for a weekend getting to meet their favorite comic book artists, or maybe, like Lou Ferrigno is signing autographs for $10 a pop. Like that's really what it was. And it was fun. And it was fun to celebrate this, like our little corner of the world and like loving what we love unabashedly. And Kevin Smith was one of the few people that brought that to the forefront, that brought those geek conversations like, oh, what do you think the contractors of the Star Destroyer knew? Do you think they knew about the Death Star? Oh, I'm a contractor. You know who you're working for. And it's like, those are the dumb conversations.
Those are the conversations that we have that keep put on film. And actually, if you want to get a really good look at what Comic-Con used to be, if you watch Chasing Amy, it shows the third New York Comic-Con. Like, I know it's not real and they staged it, but like that was literally what it looked like.
Yeah.
Like
that was it. It was one room.
Yeah. It was so small. It had like maybe like there was like one room for like artists and stuff. And then like maybe another room for like the panels and stuff. And that was it. Like you got to go and meet your favorite artists and tracers. Like it was so small, and it was just all love, and then it became this juggernaut of money making.
And it's not a bad thing. Like I'm never like a gatekeeping person. Like I love that little kids like more than ever are dressing up as superheroes, and like mainstream superheroes is like a thing, and everyone gets to experience it together. It's amazing, but just like people don't give Kevin Smith that credit of bringing that to the culture before it was cool. Before it was talked about like that, like we'll just stand around talking about these made up scenarios. And like, I remember even there was like this Photoshop thing of like Civil War after Iron Man and Cap came out. Like after the first Iron Man and Captain America came out, someone made like a Photoshop, like it's like a Boss Logic level type of Civil War poster. It's somewhere on my phone. And I was like, oh man, they can never do this. And then 10 years later, we're there. I was like, holy shit. Like we're here. Like like that was when I truly felt like comic movies had like made it, was Civil War. And it was like, this is like the stories we get to tell. Like we're truly telling comic book stories. It's amazing.
And when my mom asked me to go to a Marvel movie with her, I was like, that's it. That's where we like now in my mind, I was like, now it has transcended. Like, like my mom's a huge movie fan anyway, but like just stuff like that just was never in her wheelhouse. Like I'm one of 3 daughters. Like she never grew up with like, like we never read comic books growing up. Like we played softball and we're in Girl Scouts and I was a cheerleader, and like it was very like 90s girl centric in our house. So like we never had that stuff around. And then 25 years later, she's like asking to go see, the Incredible Hulk and Captain Marvel and stuff. And I'm like, that's why I love this. This is so cool that like people get to experience. And like the fact that technology, like it hit when it did, when technology could just like completely just eradicate every sort of like, well, I don't know if they can do it right, like feeling, and they just
it really is like one of the best. And I obviously like there's a lot of shitty shit going on in the world, but you got to focus on the positive, and that's why like like I was okay with not being on SCN with Kevin Smith and everything like that, but like I got to meet him and I got to like talk to him a little bit when back in the Screen Junkies days when I was on that fan cam, and just like I really would love to tell him about that, just because like it felt like I saw Clerks way late, but I remember seeing Clerks 2 in high school when it came out. And just like the arguments, like there's only one return, and it's of the Jedi, you fucking nerd. Like it's like
the Jedi.
It's just like, but I was that guy that was like, hey, they're not gay, they're hobbits. Like I was that guy. I was just like, no, it was a scene of pure love, and you don't understand it. They just went through hell together, and it was amazing. And you know what? If Sam and Frodo love each other, they'll fucking love each other. You get the fuck out of here.
Nobody needs your homophobic ass here right now.
Yeah, love is love, people.
God, I'm so like that whole, like every time that there's arguments in those in his movies about like nerd shit, it's just my favorite. I remember laughing so hard the first time I saw that when he was like he made some nerd so angry vomit. I was like, oh my god, I'm like, that's the goal.
It really is. And just like even my dad was laughing at that just because I was like, I played sports and stuff like that, but I low key just loved Lord of the Rings. I love comic books, but before it was cool. And even after Lord of the Rings movies came out, it wasn't cool to talk about the Silmarillion or the Ithilien, like all the lore and like, oh, he descended from this and this. And like, but that was who I was. And I had all the fucking, like, I had the Fantastic Beasts, the Lord of the Rings, like the book of all the creatures and everything. And so I was that guy that would be in a fast food restaurant like, hey man, fuck you. Like,
like, actually, you're using the wrong dialect of actually, can you read this? Can you read my tattoo?
I can't read Elvish. I cannot read Elvish.
I literally had some girl come up to me. I was helping out with check-in on some date on Warped Tour when I was visiting and hanging out. And this girl literally like stopped me and she goes, oh my God, is that Elvish? And I go, yeah. She goes, can I read that? And I was like, I don't know. Can you?
I don't know. Can you?
And she like read it, and I was like, if you can read it, please tell me, make sure I got this translation right. And she like said it, and I was like, that's awesome. She's like, that's my favorite tattoo. She's like, Dad, this is the this is the type of tattoo I want. And he goes, okay, that's really nice. And I was like, yeah. I'm sorry, I have to pull up. This is one of my favorite lines that nobody points out in Chasing Amy, and it makes me laugh so hard. What's a Nubian? Oh,
shut the fuck up.
Oh my, just that entire scene, that entire panel of Black Rage, just like, it makes me so happy. I literally, every time I watch it, I have to like pause the movie because I'm laughing so hard.
Because I just watched it this last year, and so I was not ready for that line, and it's so funny. It's so good. Like the timing of Jason Lee
almost made me laugh. It's so great. Like it's one of those, like, no matter what you're a fan of, like Kevin's gonna address it, and like you understand what that feeling is.
Yeah.
Like it's just so wonderful. I love how whenever we end up talking about it, it always comes back to Kevin Smith.
It does, and I'm okay with that because I'm a low key Kevin Smith fan. Like I like him quite a bit. Like, and it's like he just does whatever the fuck he wants, and I respect that. In a world where producers like have, in a world where producers have like so much final cut, like it's refreshing to see like a filmmaker just pick this. I'm gonna make little zombies that are Nazis
and play them.
And play them.
And we're gonna call them.
What do they say? What do they say? There's a fucking. They only have one line, like the Lord.
Their line. Oh my God! This is a 5-pointer.
It's something so
I haven't
stupid.
Watched it in so long, guys. Somebody drop it into the chat because I wanna...
Let me know what the Bratzi say because it's so funny.
It's not Zig Hail, but it's something along those lines of like.
Yeah, I'm gonna Google this because it's gonna bug me. What do the Bratzis say? Did you mean Brazil? No.
Did you mean Brazil? Yeah, for sure. Oh my God. What is it?
Yoga Hoser Nazis. Hold on. I gotta look this up because
I know it's bothering me. Mine was like, do you mean Brazier? So I'm like, no.
Yeah. But yeah, it's such a random movie,
I mean,
and
it does have like where they're like Lagogen.
They just there's like one German word that they say, I can't remember what it is, and it's gonna bug me, and there's nothing on YouTube about it. Like,
hold on. I got the clip. I mean, he makes up German words. I think. I do love that she does say it. Wunderbar!
Right, wunderbar. That's
wunderbar.
right.
That's what it was. I do love that Harley gets to say, I'm not even supposed to be here today. Like, that line makes me laugh.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, yes, she said the thing! Like, his movies have, like, there's so many, like, wink nudges to, like, all of his other stuff, and it's just, like, it's so great. And, like, he uses the same cast and everything, and, like, the fact that I would love to see what ended up on the cutting room floor, especially for Yoga Hosers, because of Ralph Garman's, like, all of his impersonations. Like, every time he started a new one, and I remember watching this in the theater, like, my friends and I were just dying. I was like, this is amazing! This movie's made for me!
Yeah, it's so ridiculous, and I respect it. Like, or like Tusk. Like, Tusk starts out, like, it's like the new From Dusk Till Dawn. Like, it's like, hey, do you like this slow, scintillating dialogue between two people? Well, guess what? He's a fucking walrus now, motherfucker!
It's still, like, the hardest watch for me. It has gotten easier over time, but, like I don't like brutality. Like, I've never watched Hostels. Like, I don't care if, like, it's one of those movies. It's like, if I get asked a 5-point question about Hostel that I have to have watched the movie, I'm okay losing that match, because that movie, like, I just can't stand, like, borderline torture porn. Like, I can't take it. It's an emotion.
It's legitimately torture porn.
Like, I just can't handle that level of inhumanity and brutality. So, like, I still have yet to watch the scene, the curb stomping scene of American History X.
Oh yeah, it's tough.
Like, as soon as
it's not even like the stomp itself, it's the noise his teeth like the sound editor like makes the noise that his teeth on the concrete. Oh, it's tough.
Yeah, I literally will sit there with my fingers in my ears and, like, eyes closed and hum for like 10 seconds, like, as soon as he leaves the doorway and walks out the house. I'm like, nope. And the next thing I know, I'm opening my eyes, and, you know, I hate the fact that this is so hot, but, you know, Edward Norton ripped bald with his hands behind his head, like, kneeling. I'm like, oh.
I did not appreciate at a young age when I watched that movie how fucking yoked Edward Norton was, because, like, that was kind of one of my first Edward Norton movies was American History X. So I just thought he just looked like that, and then seeing him in everything else, I was like, oh my god, this is like Marvel. This is like MCU superhero transformation stuff that Edward Norton went through. It's nuts.
Well, the really interesting thing is that he went straight from being, you know, Derek Vineyard in American History X and being that yoked, like, white supremacist, to being sad, weak, thin, frail Father Brian Finn in Keeping the Faith, that he also directed. Like, he went from one character to the complete opposite side of the spectrum, and it's just like, what the fuck? Like, that is pure talent.
The biggest one, I think, is like Christian Bale going from American Psycho, being ripped, and then lost everything for The Machinist, and then got it right back for Batman Begins. Like, that was like, I believe, like, there was like doctors that was like, you need to stop. There
was a doctor on set for The Machinist that literally would have to take his vitals every hour because he was so depleted in body fat that his organs started shutting down. I think his kidneys shut down, or no, his liver shut down, and then his kidneys shut down within, like, the same, like, 3-hour span. And they're like, that's it. We're stopping filming. He has to, like, we have to give him a round of dialysis. Like, this shit has to, like, he has to heal for, like, at least a day. Like, this, like, we can't keep doing this to him. Luckily, they were almost done shooting the movie, so.
It's nuts, man. It's nuts.
Stupid crazy. But we are getting Clerks 3. We are getting Mallrats 2. We are getting
I'm happy about that.
Moose Jaws. All of that has been confirmed with Kevin. He has been working on those scripts during quarantine, which I'm like, I'm fine being quarantined if that means we get these 3 movies in, like, a span of a year and a half, like, which we will. You know, as soon as we're cleared to, like, shoot movies, and he shoots in Canada most of the time anyway. So, I mean, any excuse for him to be in Canada, like, they're good now. I mean, if they can finish shooting Supernatural, they can shoot Kevin Smith movies.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, just I couldn't believe how perfect that Jericho match went. Like, it was honestly like I almost sympathize with people that say the Schmoedown is scripted because that match went so perfectly. The fact that his 5-pointer was Bruce Willis and he didn't pull it. The fact that it went into overtime. The fact that Jericho got Kevin Smith movies and fucking aced it. And fucking aced the shit when 7 out of 8 only had to go multiple choice one time. Like, everything about that match was legit perfection. And I can't wait for both of them to play again.
Yeah, I'm if I know I've been bugging Christian for literally years at this point for a Kevin Smith off. And at this point, if Kevin Smith doesn't want to face me, I will face Jericho and Kevin Smith can be at the table. Like, I don't care.
I mean, not even like I'd love, like, I feel like Kevin Smith would be down to like have a match against you about his own movies. Like, I feel like that would be so much fun. Like, you got brought up to Kevin Smith about your love for his movies. Like,
I literally wept. I had so many text messages and like people in the chat were like, is Rachel okay? Does somebody have eyes on Rachel? Like, is she alive? Is she still breathing? And I was just like standing there or like sitting in the couch, just like weeping. I was like, this is so nice. I texted Christian and I was like, that was uncalled for. Like, that was completely unfounded. I love you so much. Like, that was nuts. Like, and like apparently they sent because Christian had texted me and was like, hey, what matches did you get Kevin Smith in? And I like sent him all the links or like whichever ones they were, and he goes, great, I'm gonna send these over to Kevin so we can watch the matches and like see how you did. And I'm like, sorry, what? Like, why?
Like, Frank just reposted our one. I don't know why he reposted it on the Schmoedown thing, because like they edited out the "we're heels" thing.
Oh,
like I thought like maybe he had the original cut of it, and I was like, oh man, I haven't seen this, since they had it for like Patreon and stuff.
I would,
but yeah, like have him send that with all your steals and stuff like that. That'd be a great one too. Like,
yeah,
and so
he sent all of that to Kevin, and I was like, that's stupid. That
he's watching
me play.
Even if it's not a regular match, you guys have to play a Kevin Smith exhibition. Like, that'd be so much fun, and everyone would love to see it. Literally, everyone would love to see it.
And PJ would literally do whatever.
Oh my god,
he would have so much fun because PJ is just as big of a Kevin Smith fan as I am.
Yeah,
like we literally like I don't think there's another person on the face of this planet that we love more than Kevin Smith. So like, it's just one of those things that I'm like, this would be so engaging. It would be so good. Everybody in the chat was like, so Rachel's facing him now, right? And because like as soon as he won, I was like, well, I'm not going to face Kevin Smith because I'm 0-3 and he's 1-0. So now I have to beat people just so I can maybe get a shot at Kevin Smith. So
yeah, we're probably getting like a Brett match, which I think will be fun. But I'd still love to see the Kevin Smith exhibition match with you two. I think that's the way to go for y'all. Yeah. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm here for it. And then I'll retire because like life will not get better after that.
no, you
it's one of those, like, just have a gunman ready sitting next to me, and like as soon as the match is over, I'll be like, all right, this was the best my life is ever gonna get. Done.
Yeah.
Like, it's all downhill from here, kids.
Yeah. All right. Is Robert here? Because I got to get going pretty soon.
Yeah, Robert is here. I do want to end with my favorite question from my favorite movie of all time. It is from Almost Famous. It's the question that William asks at the very end. Do you have to be happy to write a love song? Do you have to be sad to write a sad song? What is it that you love about music?
Love about music. That two people can listen to the same song and get something completely different out of it. And this fact that we make songs our own so much so that when we hear the actual lyrics to it, like, no, these are the lyrics I've heard. Those are mine. Yeah. And just like what it can do to someone, and like what it can help someone get out of a mood, or, like if you want to wallow in the sadness, that's fine. And it can help you wallow in the sadness, and it's great. So there's so much to love about music, and it's truly, like, I feel like it feels almost more commercial than movies nowadays to me, with just like being like so overproduced and just like, oh, like we have a formula, we're going to use that formula. But even so, like, there's not a bad thing about that. Like, there are pop hits, there are, 80 writers on a song, 80 producers, and we came up with this 90-second hit that's going to be 15 seconds. Like, Old Town Road is the most ridiculous song ever, but so many people got so much fun out of it. And it was awesome. And there's so many different ways to see it. And people playing at college games, people are playing it while they stream and hang out and dance to it. And like, it's amazing. And that's what I love about music.
Love it. Love it. All right. Tell the kids where they can find you and what's coming up with you and all that good jazz.
So right there, guys, a big night tomorrow. I just announced it on Twitter, twitch.tv/the Goddard. Tomorrow at 6 o'clock, there's this that's not brand new, but it's been around. It's called Among Us. It's a murder mystery game where one or two people are imposters or murderers, and the rest are survivors, and you have to go around and do tasks while the murderers try and kill you. I've got Emma Fife playing, Andrew Guy, Video Drew, Mark Riley, late to the party, like Abby Friel is going to play. I got a bunch of people playing this game with me tomorrow at 6 o'clock. It's going to be so much fun. Alex and Molly Damon are both going to play. Like, go, if you don't know what Among Us is, like, go YouTube it, watch a game. I guarantee you'll be hooked. Someone put like the cast of The Thing and put Among Us. It's literally that. It is literally that. Like, if you've watched The Thing, you know what Among Us is. It's that in game form. So I've got a lot of big Schmoedown people playing on Twitch tomorrow. So 6 o'clock Pacific time, twitch.tv/the Goddard. Be there, guys.
Nice. Yeah, we used to play Mafia on Warped Tour. So
it's literally Mafia.
Yeah, it's the same
literally
thing.
Mafia. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that just in video game form.
Well, I love you so much, and I'm so sad that our season is over. But next season, we're just gonna, we're just gonna take this time off and rest our shoulders because the belts are gonna be on them next year. So it'll be fun.
Love you too. Thank you so much for having me, darling.
Take care.
Bye.
Love you. All right, guys. Next up, Paul likes to make these little bursts. Next up, we have the most amazing. I just love him so dearly. It makes me so happy. Let me get this off the screen real quick. Everybody, warm up your vocal cords because, well, don't really because we're not actually going to sing. But happy birthday, Robert!
Thank you. Oh,
how are you doing today?
Good. I'm one of those crazy people that absolutely is okay with working on his birthday.
Oh.
So just got home from work. It's funny because I had the past 2 days off, and then I have to work on my birthday, and I'm like, all right, whatever.
You know what?
Cool.
I would rather work on my birthday as well, as long as it like a regular schedule. Like I'd rather work during the day on my birthday and then have the night off and then have the next day because my youth was very ruckus and I would need time to heal and rise from the dead.
That's what I know. A lot of people were asking me, like, why wouldn't you take today off? I was like, no, taking today off is not important. I'll take tomorrow off.
Yeah, you got to take tomorrow off. Ew, Christopher. You gotta love brotherly love. But everybody is wishing you a very happy birthday, and I'm so excited that you get to be here to help with this.
Thank you, everyone.
So, how you been? How's Texas doing?
Texas is doing fine. We just had a cold front come through, so we now reached down. Yeah, cold fronts are amazing because now we're down to 98 degrees during the day, and it's fantastic. Just anytime we get under 120, that's muy bueno. So absolutely love that.
Yeah,
that old man. Yeah, whatever.
Hey, we don't use the O word in this stream because I am older. And I don't like that. I was actually talking to my mom yesterday and I was like, yeah, I'm sitting her out. It's because I'm going up to visit her next month. I'm super excited. I'm like, oh, so it's already in the 70s right now. So I'm like, oh, so next month it should be oh, speaking of mom, hi, mama.
Hello, Mama Silvestrini.
He will. We'll make sure of it because we're doing this and then he's going to his stream doing the watch along and then we're going to continue the party. Yeah, no, I would, but I was not feeling very well today. So I am partying in my soul.
Oh, that's fine.
But I was talking to mom yesterday and she's like, yeah, it's already nice and cool. I'm like, yeah, it's in the 70s and it's nice and cool here. And she's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I'm wearing sweatpants and it's getting a little chilly. I might have to put on a hoodie. And I love that feeling. I'm a cold weather person.
I actually believe it's like 75 degrees outside right now here, which is like absolutely perfect. As long as there's no humidity, this is one of those nights that you absolutely, like in my case, I'm in an apartment, that I would go out on my balcony with like a nice glass of whiskey or so, put on some music and just kind of just chill. And I absolutely love this weather.
Yeah, I wish that we could go outside, but
this isn't Video Drew's channel.
I was just remembering when I used to do that to Brandon when he would be streaming with somebody and I'd be laughing in the living room and people would comment about it in the stream, like in the chat. They're like, Rachel, just come in. I'm like, all right. But it was on like a 20-second delay, so I'd come in 20 seconds later. It was really funny. No, let's see. How cold is it right now? Well, not only is it like nice and chilly right now at 80 degrees, but it's because of the air quality that like you just can't go outside.
Oh, yeah.
Because the entire state of California is on fire. So.
I was listening to pretty much like the whole first hour of this while I was rushing to get home and grocery shopping and buying stuff, and so I was listening to y'all and I was hearing Goddard talking about like the inability really to go outside. It just burns the eyes. Just like we got news reports here saying that like that smoke is actually starting to make its way to Texas. Yeah. I was like, that is bad, because if it's going to start hitting us, keep in mind, I'm in Austin, Texas, so the halfway point between me and say LA is El Paso. Halfway between Austin and LA, you're still in Texas.
Yeah.
So if that smoke is making its way here, that's insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not good. The whole state is on fire, and we're hoping it stops. Even though the Santa Anas haven't started yet, so that's always fun knowing that your state is like already burnt down, and then the Santa Ana winds are on their way inside. So that's great.
We had like a city outside of Austin about, let's say, a little over 10 years ago, maybe, or just at about 10 years roughly. Like almost that whole city caught on fire, and
Jesus.
And it was so bad that the smoke, the direction of the wind and everything, it blew straight into downtown Austin. At the time I was going to college, so I was in school downtown Austin, and the smoke was just like everywhere you went, it would smell like a barbecue or campfire.
Because it didn't already. I mean, God, I miss UT campus. I miss Mass Hall so much. Guys, if you ever get the chance to go to Austin, like definitely take a walk through the college campus. It is absolutely stunning. Like the theater that I would travel to is literally across the street from the football stadium. And it's such a great area, and like the massive trees, and like everybody's so nice and weird. But one of my favorite Chinese restaurants is around there, and they deliver to the theater. I can't remember what it's called. I think it's like Golden Walk or Golden Woo or something. It's delicious. All I know
I'll be on it. Golden Walk is about the name of half the Chinese delivery restaurants downtown anyway. So Golden Walk, Dragon, something like that.
Yeah. There's like 7 words, and like they just all combine in different ways.
Golden Panda, I don't know.
God, I miss Austin. Oh, it's so beautiful. And actually one of my dearest friends who lived there just left and like moved to Colorado Springs. And I'm like, but no, like I had a room there. So now I'm just going to have to come stay with you guys.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah. I mean, after I go see Mom, I might be in need of a road trip. So who knows? I might be driving out to, and at that point, the state might actually be on fire. So
yeah. I would say, because you came through here when you were touring with John Leguizamo.
Yes.
For his tour. So back in December, you came through here and we got to hang out. You need to do that again, because that was like so much fun.
So much further away than 9 months.
Yeah.
Like
seriously, that's almost a year.
Yeah. Like that, it feels like it was at least like 3 or 4 years ago. What the last time I went on tour. But no, this year has just been ridiculous. We got to go. Oh God, we got to go to such a great breakfast and hang out, and then you guys were just gonna see each other again for what was it, Spectacular when you were coming back?
Yeah, I think it was like a day or two later.
It was like it was like 2 days later, because like you guys were leaving the
next day
to drive all the way to California.
Did we drive on that one?
I think you did.
I remember we were getting up like super early just to quickly pack up and like bugger out of town. I think we did drive that one. Yes, we did, because we crashed with our mom in New Mexico on the way.
That's right.
Yeah. So yeah, we did drive there.
Yeah.
It was Jenny in the chat, an hour north. I believe she's like in Temple, I believe, if I remember correctly. Jenny is awesome. When we first started, we did I guess when we first started the reactions, we did a giveaway for, I can't remember if it was like New York or no, it was Houston. It was the Houston event. We were doing a ticket giveaway, and she won, but she wasn't able to make it due to family issues. Yeah. Family concerns, I would say. And we were able to give the tickets off. And I know, we told Mark Ellis what was going on, and I guess Ellis reached out to her and was like super grateful and everything for it. So it was absolutely amazing. So
wait, Ellis was gracious?
Yeah.
That's never a thing. Love that man. I actually think that my mom loves him more than me at this point. Don't object, Mom. I know it's true. But like, so how has everything else been? Like, because did you guys have theaters open back up?
Yes.
Did you go and make that journey?
Yes. We have seen New Mutants and Tenet since theaters opened up. But the theater that we typically go to watch movies, we definitely made sure we read like their website and all of their like safety procedures and safety precautions, whatever. We made sure everything was like good and okay for it. And then we're like, okay, oh, well, we feel safe doing this. So
do you go to the Alamo on 6th?
No, that's the one. That's one of the ones I'm probably staying away from the most right now.
That's fair.
Although they still have bars shut down. They had open bars back up in July, but then they shut them back down, which is a huge concern right now because we've got people protesting at the Capitol probably almost daily to open the bars back up so they don't go out of business, so people could still like have jobs.
I mean, it is a very big part of the city of Austin. Like, so many people are employed by bars and restaurants, and I understand, but like, guys, you're gonna die. Like, can we just like not for a little bit? Like, so
they found a loophole and they went through the the Texas Alcohol Beverage Commission to reclass some of these bars as restaurants. The benefit to that though is what they're doing is either they need to start serving food or they need to have a food truck on the premise. Well, Austin's already big for food trucks. So all you got to do is just like pull a trailer up in your parking lot and you're good. So there's been a huge amount of partnerships between bars, like the breweries that we have like downtown. They're partnering with these food trucks. So it's providing all of that like jobs and service. The bars are opening back up. The food trucks are being able to sell food at a huge rate because they have to be able to produce food for these bars to stay open under the new guidelines for that loophole. So, and
if you're drunk, you don't have to walk like 18 blocks down to the end towards the freeway to get food and battle, the massive crowd that's in that one dirt parking lot. God, I miss Austin. It's so cool. I mean, to be fair, at this point, I probably wouldn't even be going to the bars in downtown. I would just be hanging out at Family Brewing Company because they already have a food truck that's out there, and they make they make tots in duck fat. Which, while I am vegan, I've had duck fat fries and tots before, and let me tell you, that shit is delicious. Like
you're like worth giving up veganism.
I'm not worth it, but I that's some good shit. I won't eat it, but I will smell the fuck out of your order.
Can we go there so I could just smell the fuck out of your food? I mean, come on.
They actually do make a vegan version of the tots, which is really nice, and they're so good. They have some like secret spice like rub that they put on it. Like they fry it once and then sprinkle the rub and salt on it, and then deep fry it again, and it's like it just like like it makes a crunchy like crust on. Oh my god. Okay, so I'm gonna book my flight, and when can you pick me up?
Whenever you want. I'll call in sick to work. And right now, I work at a cable company, so if I call in sick to work, I'm pretty much good for at least 2 weeks.
Nice.
They won't want me to come back for at least 2 weeks.
I know yesterday I wasn't feeling too good, and I was like, oh, I don't know what it is. Like, is it just like a summer cold? Because like, you know, with all the smoke in the air and the weather's changing, and tends to like kind of fuck you up a little bit. And I'm like really susceptible to that. So I was like, please just tell me it's a summer cold. And then like, I like told my mom, I'm like, yeah, I need to go buy a thermometer or something. She's like, are you sick? And I'm like, no, not that. Like I've talked to 4 people and 3 of them live with me. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm not sick.
I think we like at my work in our break room, we have like boxes of thermometers. They're handing them out like candy.
Nice.
Just to make sure that everyone is like, they're providing us with face masks. It's not the most comfortable face mask, but they provide us with those and all the like PPE stuff that you need. We've got like the shield in front of us and between us and the customer, which is funny because the customer actually like stands off to the side to be able to pass the cable equipment across the counter to us. So the shield right in front of us is completely useless.
Yeah.
But you know what? Someone who gets paid a lot more money than me thought that up. So what do you do?
Hey, you still got a job, and that's all that fucking matters at this point.
Absolutely not complaining at all. So,
yeah, it's nuts. So speaking of Tenet and getting to go and see New Mutants, like, have you watched it? Like, other than those, like, have you watched anything new to you during this whole like shutdown that you were like angry you haven't seen before?
So we're on YouTube channels. So I'm constantly doing that. I know the other day I actually watched Annie Hall for the first time. Now I know, controversy of Woody Allen aside, that's still a movie that like people typically should see if you're a movie lover. And I completely can see why, because it's a fantastic movie. But I think it's one of those, like, you definitely gotta like separate, I guess, if you can, the artist from the art, as I think what they say. Kind of like watching Usual Suspects. I love Usual Suspects, but it's really hard to get over what Kevin Spacey did.
Yeah,
allegedly, I guess.
I mean, I like to think that I have that ability to separate artist from art. And I just don't like Annie Hall. I think it's a shit movie. People call it a romantic comedy, and I'm like, there's nothing romantic nor comedic about this movie. This is awful. This is like a movie to show young girls and be like, this is an awful relationship. Do not emulate this. Like,
oh yeah, he's definitely like a misogynist and like he's not a good person.
No.
But I like the portrayal of him as not a good person, and then like the humor aside from it. Like his ability to like break the fourth wall. At the beginning, he's doing that whole thing, standing in the line at the movie theater, and the guy standing behind him's complaining about this director or whatever, and then he turns around and tells him like, yeah, your opinion's terrible. In fact, I got the director over here, and then pulls the director out. The director's like, yeah, your opinion is shit. Like, it's hilarious. But
I just can't. It's so masturbatory for me. I'm just like, I don't care about him or his opinions. I don't think that they're funny. And it's just like one of those movies that I'm just like, I've seen it, and that's about as much as I'm going to talk about it. Like, I just can't. I don't like to.
Yeah.
It gets me going. It ruffles my feathers. And I know a lot of people love it. And I'm like, I'm glad that you found something to enjoy about it.
I saw I saw Casablanca for the first time over the summer too. That was a good movie.
I find that movie so ridiculously funny. Like Rick has some fucking zingers, and like
yeah,
I went and saw the 25th or the 75th anniversary release, not 25th because my brain is working. And they re-released it into theaters for like a Fathom events or whatever. And a bunch of us from the show, when I was on tour with American Paris, a bunch of us went to go watch it together, and we're sitting in there, and I am the only one that's like dying laughing at how much shade Rick is throwing around at everyone. Like it's so funny. And like we like left the theater, they're like, wow, you really enjoyed that movie. I'm like, you guys are sassy bitches. How did you not love the fuck out of that? Like that was hilarious.
Like this movie's a classic. Like there's a reason why that movie is such a classic, even to this day. So that's one of those I'm sad that like I started a YouTube channel about movies like a couple of years ago without seeing that movie. That's one of those like you need to stop that channel, go watch that movie, then come back and you can watch that movie, or you can continue your channel.
Yeah. Like you're not allowed to have opinions on film until you watch these movies. But like I also find that like some of those movies that people have said that about, I'm kind of like, like Citizen Kane.
I'm not a fan of Citizen Kane. I get why. Like, here's the thing. I mentioned this on, I believe, on Twitter. I was like, hey, just to be honest, not a big fan of Citizen Kane. And Bibiani wanted to like burn me at the stake. He's like, how dare you not like? I was like, I like honestly, like I've seen a couple of Orson Welles movies. Just not a huge fan of them. I get the hype. I understand why he's such a good artist, but
as a whole, yes, he is an amazing artist. But I have seen some of his other like way lesser known works that I love and appreciate far more than I do Citizen Kane. I think Citizen Kane is just like a bunch of white dudes got together and they're like, "This is the best movie ever!" Like, shake hands, shake hands, shake hands. Like, it's I can't stand it. Like, I'm like, I get that it was a big deal. I get that it's a grand, massive, epic story. I don't care for it. Like, it has nothing, like, it doesn't make me care about him. Like, there's nothing in that movie that I'm, like, invested in. Like, I could give two shits about Rosebud. Like,
especially because nowadays, pretty much everyone knows that what Rosebud is. So it's not a big surprise. There's no element of what you're watching it for.
But even knowing what Rosebud was, because like, you know, it like you said, it is such a huge part of the lexicon of cinema. Like I remember hearing Rosebud and like knowing that was part of Citizen Kane. Like since I was like 5, I just never understood why. But even watching the movie, knowing that, I was still like, why was this such a big deal? Like, why did everybody care what Rosebud was? Like this guy, I don't get it. Nor do I care for anybody to explain their point on it. I'm just like, great, you like it. That's all that matters to you. I don't care to. And you're not going to change my opinion on it. I don't hate it. I've seen it.
But just,
yay.
I do remember, like, when I was a kid, Tiny Toon Adventures kind of made fun of it.
Yes! Okay.
And I was like, okay. And then I looked back onto what it was they were mocking, and I was like, I think that's when Rosebud got ruined for me. I was like, dang it, Tiny Toon Adventure spoiled a classic, supposedly, for me. I was like, damn, Tiny Toon Adventure. Freaking Buster and Babs Bunny, no relation.
I love how Tiny Toon's Adventure and like Tiny Toon's Adventure and like Animaniacs, Looney Tunes, like all those like cartoons that were supposed to be for kids have very adult content, and not just like in a sexual manner, like with the whole like, no, find Prince. I found Prince. No, fingerprints. I don't think so. Like, it's like stuff like that stuff aside, like there's so many like classic movie and like pop culture references that are like way over kids' heads that going back now, I'm like, how did that go through? Because I don't think in today's society you can actually get by with that because everything is so accessible and so easily ingested for children that like you can't do that anymore.
Well, you even got like some of the Disney movies. Like you go back and look at Aladdin. Look at the characters that Genie was imitating. What's his name? When he did the whole like I can't bring people back from the dead. He was imitating. What's that guy's name?
Romero.
Anyways, no, much older. Dang it! And I know this too.
Are you thinking of an actor or? Wait, this is a fun game. Are we thinking actor or director?
It's an actor.
Oh.
So no, can you get it before the chat does? Jeez. I know who it is.
I don't want to do it.
Yeah. I can't bring people back from the dead. I don't like doing it. Man.
Or him imitating Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, you gotta be a straight shooter. Yeah,
you got it. Listen, Sparky, here's the deal. Like I remember
Peter Lorre. Yeah,
excellent. I mean, chat. Eric fucking knows his shit.
Eric Barnes. That's why you're the War Father, or the War Father is a roommate of yours.
Yes, that's why they're roommates. I completely forgot to mention this, guys. We have a super chat or a Streamlabs. So if you want to throw some money in to ask a question, go ahead. Oh, Ferris, you're in just to say hi. Hi, honey. You're so sweet. I love you. But it's just, or like even the references that like aren't necessarily like embodied in Disney movies, but just like the way that they speak about things, like. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in Disney movies. If we want to get into that discussion, we can. But like in Frozen,
and that's not including all the sexual innuendos that people put in over the years,
right? Like
the naked woman in the window with the rescuers, and of course everything from like the sex and the dust and Lion King and the priest and Little Mermaid and stuff. Although I will say, I wish I still had a copy of the original VHS release of Little Mermaid because you do. That's
my clamshell is in epic condition, and that is not a euphemism. I mean, yes, but well, yeah, actually, I love telling the story. So like, I like to purge things. Like, so we had a huge VHS collection when I was younger. And so as DVDs became more prominent and we were collecting DVDs, I would get rid of the VHSs, like since we have the DVDs. And so one day I came home and Mom had like all of my clamshells in a box. And I was like, where are you going with those? And she's like, oh, I'm going to donate these. I'm like, the hell you will. That is my retirement fund. I was like, I'm like, you bought those for me. Those were Christmas and birthday presents for me. Like, those are mine. And she's like, but why? We have them on DVD, like Blu-ray and stuff like that. I'm like, because they're worth a lot of money. So they're going to stay right here. And we're not going to touch them. Just let them be. But yeah, I think I'm like 99% sure that I have the original cover of Little Mermaid because you gotta yeah, you gotta love Dick. Especially when it's on a cover of a Disney movie and it can make you hundreds of dollars. If not thousands. Who knows?
I love that I'm not gonna say.
Oh my god. Well, it's like my girlfriends and I were talking about guys who were sending dick pics. And I was like, I got the best dick pic I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, you guys are not going to believe it. It's so beautiful. They're like, what? Show us. And I'm like, all right, so now it's become this huge joke that like this is the only dick pic that I will ever approve of receiving, and now I have to find it.
Please,
for some reason, it's not in my favorites.
It's the zoom in or
no, no. Oh god, damn it! Where is it? I can't find it. Well, I'll keep looking.
Chris Evans, right?
What a cat! What an American! Oh my God. Honestly,
honestly,
to be able to turn that situation around to where he literally was like, well, now that I have your attention, register to vote. I was like, oh, I'm like, oh, it just came again. I love you so much. You're so great. And like everybody's responses. Oh my God. Jamie Lee Curtis commented on it and she like applauded it. I was like, I love you so much. Like,
I did read an article today, and I don't want to bring the mood down, but this is still Kat Dennings. What's her name from Thor?
Thor, yeah.
She tweeted out, she's like, look, fantastic work on like that Chris Evans did and his fan stuff, but how come women don't see that same kind of like that support when like ScarJo's pictures leaked? You didn't have that kind of support as like, oh no, it's okay, go away, stop looking, like we still love you type of thing. I
still have a screenshot, I don't care. I actually missed it and had to get somebody, I like text somebody, I was like, what did I miss? And they're like, oh my God, and sent it to me, and I was like, Captain.
You had to salute him.
Salute that. For those of you, sorry, Mom, but we're talking about Chris Evans posted a dick pic, or inadvertently posted a dick pic, and then forgot, and people realized, and then he took it down. And now he's encouraging people to vote because of it, and I'm here for it.
Happy birthday to me. Let's talk about Chris Evans' dick.
There's nothing more American than we could be doing right now.
Salute you, sir. And I was in the military, so I know a proper salute.
Right at the corner of the eyebrow. Oh my God, I'm still trying to find this dick pic. It's the best. Damn it.
My brother's reciting "Oh Captain, my Captain" in the chat.
Oh, 100%. I actually think the first actual words out of my mouth, other than going, oh my, were literally, oh Captain, my Captain. Like, it's I mean, yeah, and there's such a double standard about like women and everything, but like women's bodies are also just so like, they're kept under lock and key, they're so revered, and then like we're not allowed to own our own bodies or our sexuality. And so when things like, you know, nudity pics come out about women, it's more of like, oh, I can't believe that she took those, and how dare she, and oh, she's such a slut, I bet she slept with the photographer, and it gets real ugly real quick. Whereas of course a guy has a photo of his dick on his phone, like it's just understood that that's in existence, like.
Of course
Sure
is.
I mean, it's more accepting. Delete. I wonder how many like men actually like after that happened like went to their phones and were like, okay, we need to have these in a different category. Like these need to be in their own file. Which, guys, if they're not in a file already, create a file in your phone. Keep them there.
Call that file folder "not me."
Keep them in. Don't keep them in Gen Pop. Just keep them separate. Keep them secure.
Unless you could give Captain America a run from his money, don't claim that.
Seriously. Although at this time, I've started. You know, guys will like slide into your DMs and like ask for nudes, so I send them dick pics that I get.
Oh, that's dirty.
It's my favorite. I'm like, oh, I don't know you, and your first words are, I want to see those tits. Like, no, you're going to see some old guy's balls that he sent me. Like, yeah, enjoy those. It's fun.
And
the responses are epic.
I'm sliding into people's DMs going, hey, can you be on my YouTube channel?
I know you don't know me too well, but I was wondering if you could do me a favor. Delete!
I actually had to do that a couple of times this week. Like, hey, I know you don't exactly know who I am, but
see, that's why you got to get a middleman. Got to get those people to be like, hey, can you introduce me digitally? Yeah. There have been so many times I've gone in and like been like, A meet B, B meet A. Okay, bye.
Yeah.
God damn,
But we did make some good connections through like people like that were able to like, oh yeah, let me get you connected with them. So
I mean, I finally got Koi on my show. He's lined up for next month, so I'm super happy about that.
Koi
maybe
is
I'll have
awesome.
maybe I'll find the dick pic by then. Like I'm not giving up on this because it's like the best thing ever. It really like it makes me so happy.
Koi's gonna pop up on the show and you're gonna be like, there it is.
Be like 3 weeks later. It was supposed to be an hour show. 3 hour show.
3 hours later.
No, this isn't gonna turn into the show that I had with PJ. Oh dear God. That thing was epic. You were there that night, right?
Yeah, like on like the 6th hour.
That was my mom. I tell you, my mom literally texted me. She's like, forget this. I'm going to bed. I'm like, you're still up? This 6 hours? Oh shit. Yeah. Have you met Ted?
Yeah. Call the folder Chris Evans. That's classic.
I guarantee you that almost every female has that already. Screenshot.
A folder called Chris Evans?
Yeah, of just Chris Evans photos. Yeah, 100%. He's so pretty. Plus, he like has dogs that are gorgeous, and I'm like, you can't fight against that. That's like the ultimate kryptonite, or maybe it's just my kryptonite. Like pretty boy and beautiful dog. I mean, you don't even like. Just give me a dog, and I'm happy. Like, just feed me, and give me a puppy, and I'm yours. It's that easy.
I have a cat.
Cats don't tend to like me. I don't know what it is. Like, I like cats.
My cat doesn't really like anyone, so. Right.
But, like, most cat, I mean, 90% of cats are drag queens to begin with. But
I'll throw on some, like, music, like, during the day, and she'll just wander around meowing, and I'm like, I'm trying to listen to this. Do you mind?
What kind of music you throwing on?
It depends on the mood. Like, probably most of the time I'm able to really like listen and enjoy is while working on like graphics and stuff, like doing our thumbnails and stuff like that. Or like if I have like a creative idea, I know like some of the images we've done, like advertising our show or someone else's show or something, I might take like a classic movie poster and then just put our faces on it. One of my favorites was Lion King. We were advertising our weekly show that we do, and so we released a whole bunch of pictures of various movies with our faces replacing it. So we did a movie poster of Lion King where I think we did the classic pose of Rafiki holding up baby Simba, and we replaced Rafiki's head with mine, and then baby Simba with my brother.
I remember that one.
So we did that. We did one for like we did the Jerk, and we'd replace Steve Martin's head with mine. We did Forrest Gump and replace his head with my brother's as well. We had Roka on our show at one point, and we did the Tropic Thunder. And so we had like my face, my brother's face, and Roka's face on like the 3 leads in the poster of that. Okay. So yeah, typically if I'm working on graphic stuff like that, like I'll do our thumbnails. I do the thumbnails for Video Drew's Cinema Bias. While working on those, I'll throw on music, and that's actually like that. Honestly, is probably one of my favorite things to do. Is work on graphics, throw on some music, and pour like a nice glass of whiskey or something, and that's my night. I mean, other than like going and sitting out on the balcony, like I said.
Well, what type of music do you throw on? Are you like a classic jazz guy? You like hard rock?
Mine goes anywhere from, I'm a big fan of, like, of course, the music I grew up listening to, so pretty much all the 90s, popular 90s, to like I will go back and I could listen to like classic rock endlessly. Anyone who knows me is absolutely tired of Pink Floyd because they
Fair.
If you like kind of sort of like Pink Floyd, then never meet me, because you will get so sick and tired of Pink Floyd. I know Ben Goddard earlier was talking about like listening to the radio, like when he was talking about the DJ Jellies, and how like they would, like y'all were saying that Nelly's Hot in Here would pop on, and like, I hated that song back in the day because it would always play, but now you haven't heard it in 10 years, like, oh shit, like this is awesome.
Yeah.
Kind of like that. I will listen to some Pink Floyd over and over and over. But I mean, if you're a true fan of it, I don't think you ever get tired. But if you're like,
I think there's a breaking point. It just happens for the bigger the fan you are, the further away the breaking point is. But there is that breaking point where you're like, you know what? I'm gonna let this sit for like at least 6 months, and then I'll come back and I'll love it. I found it. It's the best.
Unsolicited dick pic. Oh, fantastic. And it's Bert from Mary Poppins.
It is the best thing. I send that. I have it saved on my phone. I don't know where it is, but I need to like find it and like resave it to my favorites. Because like, dude, there's nothing better than like seeing that your girlfriend's having a bad day and like sending her that. And then you just like, she just lights up. She's like, thanks, I needed to laugh. Like, it's so much fun. I love that. Yeah. I'll even send it to guys if they're having a bad day, just because it gets a smile out of them too.
The problem, like my problem that I have noticed, and like people that I might try like dating, is that nobody knows who that is.
What's that D word you just used?
Dating?
It sounds familiar. It sounds like fun, but I don't understand.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things I used to do when I had like free time, which
I mean, I thought it was something that you could do when you used to be able to like be around people and like interact without this, like in person.
Yeah.
Right?
I believe so. But who knows? Like,
I don't know anymore. Although I did tell my best friend, I was like, you know what? I think I'm bored enough that I think I'm gonna let you sign me up for like those dating apps. And she got so fucking happy. I'm like, just send me my passwords. Like, you have all my pictures. Just create my profile. I was like, she knows me better than anyone. So
just let me know if someone has swiped right on me, and I'm good.
Yeah. I'll install it on my phone, but like, I'm not gonna set the notifications up, and I'll check like once a month. Like, I don't care at this point. I'm like, you can make them as ridiculous as you want. But I was like, whatever you do, no Tinder. I don't want to deal with that bullshit.
Well, now, like, I remember, like, back in the day, you could do something like, hey, I'm a person on YouTube. And people will be like, oh, it's awesome. Now it's on YouTube. Yeah, so is everybody, especially right now.
But the guys that used to say, hey, I'm on YouTube on dating apps are also the people that got me too. So, yeah. Fuck them. Everybody knows who I'm talking about. I'm not going to say his name because he does not deserve to have that honor. But fuck him with sandpaper.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Yeah, you're the one that like really likes that phrase.
Yeah, go fuck yourself with sandpaper. Yeah, because why are you going to wish an orgasm on somebody when they're terrible human beings? Like, come on. They don't deserve that. That's a good thing.
I know. I'm a nice human being, and I'm not enjoying one right now. I mean, come on.
Oh, we did get a donation from PC. She says, "Happy birthday, Adam." So,
aww, thank you, PC.
Well, she says Mr. Adams, but yeah. Just weird calling you
so
Mr.
proper.
I know. I can't. It's weird. Like, I was also that asshole that like used to call my my teachers by their first names. Like,
oh.
I mean, we were pretty laid back school, though. I mean, to be fair, we did. What was it? My econ teacher, my senior year. I literally don't even remember her last name. Her first name was Tammy, and she was amazing. But she had been teaching there. She'd been teaching there for a while, and while she had been teaching there, she had given birth to 2 sons. And so she would teach until like she was absolutely like had to be at home in bed on bed rest. So like she would, get a lighter schedule while she was pregnant, and she had a couch brought in to her room and it never left. So it was like on the first day, it was like unofficially like, I walked in late because I was in a meeting with another teacher. Walked in late and saw the couch, and I was like, I'm not sitting on a chair like at a desk when I can sit at a couch. So I literally just walked over to the couch, and she goes, all right, that's your spot for the year. And I was like, yes. She like made out a seating chart, and like instant, she's like, is there anybody you want to share the couch with? I'm like, Holly, get your ass over here. So like my best friend Holly came over. It was second period. She also made the very big mistake that day of telling us that if we were going to be late for any reason, especially on block period days, because it was like block period was odd days and even days, and the even days we started at 9:10, and she's like, there's no reason for you to be late, but if so, I will take a venti vanilla whatever. And she like gave us her coffee order, and I'm like, well, we're already at Starbucks anyway on that morning, so Holly and I would meet up at Starbucks, and then it'd be like 9:00, and we would like, the baristas would just at 9:00 just make her vanilla latte for us, and we'd walk in. She wouldn't even miss a beat, and she would just keep lecturing, hold her hand out, take the coffee, and like we would just walk behind her and sit on our couch, and like nothing had happened. Like did not care. We were late every week on Tuesdays, and she like never marked us late. It was the best.
That's awesome.
I was like, well, this like high school is supposed to prepare you for college, so like, why not? Like that's something I could definitely see happening in a college setting. Not that
I remember in my 8th grade we had a teacher, and this poor guy, like nobody respected him at all. He could never control the class. I know I didn't help, but it's one of those like kind of like in hindsight, now that I'm an adult, I'm like, oh, I was such an asshole.
I just want to go apologize.
But like I at one point during that grade, I had to switch classes, and I ended up moving to a class where he really didn't have room except for an armchair, like a lazy boy that he had in the back of the classroom that nobody was really allowed to sit in. But since I had moved in and there were no open desks, there was nowhere else for me to sit except in there. And that was like, once you were moved into that chair, you were like the king of the classroom, especially in this guy, which again, nobody respected him. So what's sad is more people cared about who's sitting in that armchair in the back of the class than the teacher who's trying to teach a class.
What was the class?
Oh, I think it was like world history, I believe.
Well, nobody cares about world history.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, our president doesn't either, so fuck it.
This guy had like the most like driest take on it, and like it was one of those like, looking back, the guy was trying so hard, and he just could not control the room. Like every 5 seconds, he was like, class, shh, shh. And I'm the jerk that's in the chair in the back, like sitting there like with a piece of paper, keeping a tally every time he shushes us. And like every time he does, like, well, 23, and then everyone's cracking up laughing. He's shushing him again. I'm like 24. Like it was like, I was like, oh, now looking back again, yes, complete like dick move. But
you need to go back and apologize.
You know, here's
like
the thing.
I feel like that is something that a lot of people need to do. Like not just you specifically, but like I think a lot of people, high school students are awful human beings. Like they're just shitty versions of what awful people they're going to be as an adult. And I feel like it's owed to the people who have made a profession out of trying to raise a good generation. Like they just need to know that you feel bad about it.
So I will attest, and like I guess like as an adult looking back, I could kind of like maybe sort of defend it with the ideal that I was like teased and picked on badly. Like every single day I was scared to death to go to school. And by that time I had reached a point where like doing something like that gave me positive, like people, like my fellow classmates looked at me positively. In the meantime, I'm completely like over here shitting on this teacher, and at the cost of me being more popular, being more well liked, which is a complete like just again total asshole thing to do.
It's a survival thing that it's awful that you had to use that as a survival tactic. But
yeah. I mean, like when I was in 10th grade, I started smoking cigarettes, and then all of a sudden everyone's like, oh, that little dweeb, dork, nerd, whatever you want to call me, I've been called every name in the book, is smoking cigarettes. Maybe he's not that bad. And like, I was like, how messed up is this world that like, hey, you want to be well liked and be popular?
Smoke a cigarette.
Get lung cancer.
Yeah, it's...
Which is funny because that's actually what the ads from like the 70s were. I mean, that's essentially what it was. Like, you want to be cool and popular? Smoke.
100%. I mean, the Marlboro Man. Every man wanted to be the Marlboro Man because he was sexy and a loner and got women. And he literally, like, I remember, I think it was like in the early 90s. The guy who actually was the original Marlboro Man, like, came out and was doing those like anti-smoking ads and was like, I was the Marlboro Man and now I have a trach tube and like I'm dying of lung and throat cancer. Like, fuck you guys. Like,
yeah,
I remember that. I remember watching those. That was harsh.
I liked that movie Thank You for Smoking, where they have to go visit. It was fictional, but they went to go visit supposedly the original Marlboro Man, and it was Sam Elliott. And I was like, that's exactly who I would want to play the Marlboro Man. Like, Sam Elliott is perfect for that.
No, just Sam Elliott is perfect. That's all. Like, you don't need to, like, that's where it begins.
I want that
Sam
mustache.
I mean, he's in his like 80s, and I would still do him because he's still so sexy. Like, I don't care. Like, it sounds weird, but like my mom and I have literally talked about like how sexy he is. Like, don't care. He's generation. It spans all. Like, I don't care. He's beautiful. So what was your best birthday? Since today is the day of your liberation from your mother's uterus.
Good way to put that.
It's Uterus Liberation Day.
Yeah. Finally, I'm free. Every time every time I hear that, like, of that term, I think of that movie Cabin Fever.
Oh God.
At the end, like, no, not any of like the skin rotting off type of stuff. No, not that. Like, the one dude at the end who like went to go hide in a cave away from like the flesh eating disease. He comes back to the cabin at the end and he sees like everyone's dead and he's like, I made it, and he steps out on the porch. He's like, I made it, I survived, and like all the townspeople just shot him because they thought he was a carrier of it. I'm like, So that's what when he mentioned. I was like, "I'm free." Okay, That's a good meaning of life right there. I mean,
I love laughing at those. Like, my favorite one that I always reference. This is also why not a lot of friends or family will go see them with me. See, mom knows what's up. Yeah, because he's sexy. I went to go see the Star Trek movie in, I think it was the 2009 one, and like when they're trying to rescue Spock's family from Vulcan, and like they're running out of the cave, and like going outside, like the whole planet's like falling apart and getting destroyed, and like that one statue just falls on that one guy, and I started laughing. I'm like, you can't escape fate. Like, they got there in time, and you were trying to leave, but you're being an idiot. Now you got crushed by a statue. But yeah, favorite birthday.
My favorite birthday. So it's kind of weird sounding that it's my favorite birthday, but I mean, at the same time, in all honesty, this has got to be one of those that you have to be like in my shoes to like fully appreciate this. In which case, it's a very long story, and we're not going to get into it tonight. But I would have to say probably one of my favorite birthdays, the first one that pops in my head is actually my 21st birthday. Because the day of my 21st birthday was my official separation from the military.
Oh, that was a big day.
So that was the day, signed on the dotted line. Yep, I completely understand. I get my DD 214. I'm like, see ya. And I drive off base, and that's it. never to go back. So that one's kind of weird. It's also your 21st, which typically in most people's lives, your 21st birthday is a huge one. But like also separating from the military is that's
it's a birthday of another in another way at the same time.
So that one I would say is my favorite, and I don't mean to say it's my favorite that like I absolutely hate the military and now absolutely love the military and everything that it brings to people who choose to go into it. Again, I don't want to go into the story, but there were certain parts of it that weren't for me, which is I feel like completely fine. Military's not for everyone. There's certain aspects of it that work and don't work. Mine didn't work perfectly, I would say. But I definitely appreciate what it gave me at that time, what the military stands for. And I will always defend anyone who chooses to live that military life. So, yeah, not really any hard feelings against the military overall, but yeah, that's
an important day. Anytime that you end something, it starts something brand new for you. So I completely understand that. Yeah, my 21st birthday was a little rough. I ended up drinking the martini menu at VJ Brewery like 3 times over because we were sitting in the bar, and then like everybody at the bar found out that I was celebrating my 21st birthday, so they were sending over drinks and shots, and it got rough. I fell off a stool. Well, I was wearing, first of all, this is how young and stupid I was. I was 21 and thought that it would be a good idea to wear heels because I was like being an adult. And we were sitting in those like bar stool chairs that have the supports underneath the chair that you can like put your heels on. Uh-huh. And my heel was resting like over that, and I went to get up to pee and it didn't disengage, and I just like ass over tea kettle fell right on my back. And like just started like crying, laughing. I was laughing so hard. I'm like, I'm an idiot.
Like, I also don't need to pee anymore.
I mean, to be quite honest, like it was something that I would have done had I been sober or as drunk as I was. Like it doesn't matter. Like my BAC was not a factor in this. It's just me being me. But yeah, that was a rough night. My roommates were lovely enough to have driven, and I repaid them by throwing up into his car.
Well, as long as you knew that you needed to give back in some form.
Yeah, but like not like inside his car. Like I tried to make it because he had a Mustang. So when you're drunk and you're lounging back in the front seat like that, you have to hoist yourself up and then over the window. And I almost made it over the window, so I threw up inside his door and on the outside of his car. So he had to have his door taken apart to get and clean that all out.
Oh, she got like down in the window area. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's love right there. Because I didn't know about that for like at least a year or two after, and then he told me about that, and I was like, I'm so sorry. That was also the night that I was found naked, curled up around the toilet in the bathroom. That was a rough night.
Yeah, like
birthdays.
Me personally, I very much enjoy just staying at home and drinking instead of going out because I'm always like the control freak that like when I go out, like even with the like Schmoedown events, like some of the ones that I've been to and like being at the studio, the afterwards, I usually will have like a couple of drinks or so, but I'm not getting drunk or anything.
Yeah.
If I even get buzzed, that'll be impressive.
Well, I mean, that's also understandable because you're
but
it's also understandable because it's like it's not in the city where you live. Like you're not super familiar with the area. Like that I understand, but like knowing that I'm like a $7 Uber ride from my house, I'm like, yeah, let's get plastered.
Definitely helps.
Like, yeah, let's like somebody, either one of my roommates is here and they're sober enough to drive, or I will just call an Uber and that's totally fine. Or someone will give me a ride home. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think after my match I was in, we went to Barney's?
Barney's, yeah.
Yeah, across the street. And like sitting there like Kaiser's like, let's buy some beers. I'm like, oh my God.
God, I've actually there have been so many times where I was like, I could have gone to like one of the stores near Barney's, but like I've avoided it and driven further away in the opposite direction to go because I don't want to be around Barney's and I don't want to see that patio empty because it like breaks my heart that we're not able to like be there and hang out and like.
Oh yeah, you were there that day too. Yeah,
I'm there. I was there every weekend, like regardless if I was playing or not. But yeah, I was there. And like you like came up to me, you're like, I'm playing a match today. I was like, what? You're like, yeah, I don't know what's going on, but I'm playing a match. I'm like, all right.
Well, good luck.
The fucking studio matches. God, I miss them so much.
You're like,
I can't wait until we get back.
There's a whole bunch of liquor up there above the refrigerator if you want to take a crack at those real quick, which I should have, and I didn't, but I should have just to calm the nerves just a little.
I actually think I offered you because I was still bringing Jameson at that point because like I was bringing it and then Jill showed up and she started bringing it. I'm like, oh, thank God I don't have to bring it anymore because R&B would just like find my stash and like all of a sudden it was like gone. I'm like, what? And then we go across the street and keep drinking. Although there were so many times that like we would be drinking at the studio and then we'd walk across the street and I'd still have my drink from the studio in my hand as we were walking across the street. And then we would sit at Barney's and be ordering drinks and I would just be there with my other drink and just be like, yeah, no, this is fine. And the waitresses would be like, well, I know you're going to spend a shit ton of money tonight, so it's fine. Oh, I don't know if anybody's seeing this in the chat, but so my mom and Jake Yacovetta have kind of a love affair. It's really adorable. She thinks that Jake's voice is as sexy as Sam Elliott's, and it's just like the cutest thing ever.
You know, they
How
actually
dare you? I mean, she did birth me, so understandable.
They actually do sound a lot alike now that I think about it.
If you close your eyes and Jake doesn't try and like, if Jake is talking about something that he's completely bored about, he sounds exactly like Sam Elliott.
I'm not trying to close my eyes and envision Sam Elliott while listening to Jake Yacovetta.
That's a different friendship level.
I've not had enough of this yet. Okay, for all intents and purposes, I'm still sober on my birthday. It's funny because I left work earlier tonight having a conversation in Spanish with the woman that comes before we close to start cleaning the store. So I'm talking to her and I'm trying to ask her like various things in Spanish or whatever. And I was like, you know, what's bad is that this is probably going to be, even though the conversation doesn't make sense, this is going to be the conversation that probably makes the most sense out of my next 5 hours.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Have you ever had those? I've had so many dreams where I've.
That's why you're Adam's number 2. Look, because I'm not having fantasies of you. I mean, come on.
It's his birthday.
It should make me Adam's number 1 that I'm not fantasizing about you. Because that means that Adam's number 1.
Hey, everyone wants to be desired and wanted.
By Jake Yacovetta. I know.
I mean, why not? All right, guys, so it is getting a little close. I know Robert's got another show that he's got to go do and continue drinking. I'm probably going to take a break because I am starving. I haven't had dinner yet. So if you guys have any last-minute questions, send those in on Streamlabs. We'll do like another 3 minutes, and then I'll ask my last question. So have you ever do you ever have any grand ideas for milestone birthdays, like your 50th or your 35th? Because you turned how old today? I'm still older than you can say.
I turned 29 for the 11th time today. I don't believe you're older than me.
Wait. Today is your 40th?
No, today's the 39th.
Oh.
Next year's the 40th.
I got you. Okay, so I'm not older than you, but still, are you planning on doing something big for next year?
Yes, next year I will not be working on my birthday. Fuck you guys. I'm staying home and I'm staying in the bed all day long. That's what I'm doing.
That's a good idea. Yeah, I miss traveling, so if we can travel, not on my next birthday, but for my 40th, if we can travel by then, yeah, I think I want to do like a group trip and just like rent out a massive cabin and like just be like, so I'm gonna be here for 2 weeks and you guys can come and go as you please. Like that'll be fun. I think that would be fun.
Do like kind of like a rent, like an RV rental thing, and just like drive around type of thing too, or
no, I don't want to be responsible. No, I want to rent. I want to rent a cabin like somewhere like central to the U.S. so like anybody can fly in. It'll be like equidistant from the coasts.
yeah, good.
Maybe like Nashville. Just go find like a giant house in Nashville and like rent it, and then whoever wants to fly in for however long can. And you get to stay and hang out, and I'll see about getting sponsored by, some sort of liquor, maybe Bullet. That would be lovely.
Now,
Jameson, my boyfriend.
What's funny is almost every city that you've mentioned on this stream since I've been on, I have at one point lived at. So I was born in Idaho, but before, like, while I was still a infant, my parents moved to Colorado Springs.
Ooh, I love
and then I believe they went back to Idaho and then back to Colorado. And then at one point they moved out to Nashville. Nashville is my earliest memories. So we were out there with like Opryland. The amusement park was out there. I remember certain parts of Opryland when I was a kid. And then I remember sitting in the U-Haul, the drive from Nashville to Austin. And then pretty much like it was almost, I've been in Austin almost since I was like 4. Wow. So yeah, I remember Austin before all the Californian people came over here.
I was considering moving to Austin. It was when I first went to leave California, I was like, it's either Austin, Boston, Portland, Oregon,
or anything else that ends with Austin.
Austin, yeah, Boston, yeah. I love Boston too. Like, at this point, I've fallen in love with just about every city I've ever visited, except for Manhattan, Kansas. Fuck that place. Place is awful.
Boston, like I visited Boston. I visited Boston the weekend of the marathon. That particular marathon, I was there like 48 hours before the bombs went off. I was like 6 blocks away from that. So I had visited that on vacation that weekend. And I wasn't like really excited to go to Boston just because a lot of it was like a lot of historic stuff. Me being a movie lover, I want to go see like the movie, like where's movies take place, that type of thing. Yeah, which there's a lot of movies that take place in Boston, but none like off the top of my head.
Well, Ted.
Yeah.
Fever Pitch.
Yeah.
I mean, you're in Boston.
A lot of them at Fenway Park. Yeah.
The Town.
Yeah.
Ted 2. I remember.
But
it's a great city.
I remember going there and I was like, yeah, this is like primarily just for the historic nature of this town. In which case, once you're there, you absolutely love it. Like I very much appreciated that city once I was there.
Yeah, so. It's really cool. I have a friend of mine who has a house on the Cape, and we were there over 4th of July weekend, and I happened to like be really good friends with my coworker, and I was like, hey, is it cool if we move the schedule around so I can take the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th off because like he has a house and we're gonna go out in the lake or out in the bay and like hang out, and I haven't seen him in forever. My coworker was very sweet about it. He also, I think, was terrified of me. So I got to like ride the train out, and he picked me up and like took me to his favorite, coffee place. And he's like stayed at his house with him and his girlfriend for the weekend and like met a whole bunch of his friends. And it's so lovely. I just love Boston. But like I said, like it's one of those, like, I'm blessed with an overabundance of love for these things. So like when I'm trying to figure out what to do, I'm like, I could be happy anywhere. Like somebody just tell me where to go. Like, yeah, like I had such a, when I quit touring, I was like, I don't know what I want to do with the rest of my life, because like I've been touring and selling merchandise for like my entire adult life, and I don't know what else to do. And there's so many things that I could see that could make me happy, but like, where do I apply and where do I want to move? And like, do I want to move back to LA, or do I want to move to Austin, or do I want to move back to Nashville, or do I want to move to Minneapolis? Because I fucking love Minneapolis. Like, there's just so many different things. And so I was like talking to my friend who actually used to live in Austin, my friend Ben, and he's like, well, what do you want? And I'm like, no, Ben, you need to tell me what to do. I'm asking you, like, just tell me where to go. Tell me what job to get. Like, I'll do it. And he goes, well, you need to be happy. I'm like, I will be happy. Just need to figure out where. It's awful.
So what you need to do is you need to move to Austin and then tell Christian that when the Schmoedown can go on tour again, that he needs to bring the Schmoedown to Austin, Texas. The best theater that they could do it in is where Austin City Limits is filmed.
Oh,
the ACL Moody Theater. Oh, that would be gorgeous theater for
we've had
for
talks.
the Schmoedown.
I've literally told him, I'm like, look, him and JP, I'm like, look, I've literally been in every major city in the US. I know venues that can hold 400 people up to like 40,000. Like, I have people at every one of these venues. Like, just let me know when you want to go to those cities, and like if you need any help booking them, because I know the people and I know that I can get a really good deal for us. So I'm just waiting for that call.
Yeah,
but
I'd like to see it if he could bring it here during like South by Southwest.
It would be so expensive just for the hotels.
It would be expensive,
and like putting up the competitors and the flights in wouldn't be too bad, but like it would be the hotels. Like,
yeah,
unless we like signed a deal, like if we dream situation, COVID clears, we get to go back out on tour with the Schmoedown Live situation, and we're doing once every other month, if not once a month, live events in different cities. In that case, that's when you signed an exclusivity contract with a hotel to get the best rates. And that's when you are able to negotiate South by Southwest during, like in Austin, during South by Southwest, because that at that point you're like, okay, well, part like that could be like negotiated into the contract, and just be like, well, this is what we want and this is what we can bring you, and you should do this 100%. And I feel
like Skybound could probably help on that as well.
Yeah. Well, also talking to them and letting them know. But yeah, I mean, we also have to wait until the world stops like burning, literally and figuratively. All right, guys, we are keeping him from his show. So I'm going to check Streamlabs one last time, and then we will end. All right, we are clear for Streamlabs. So I will ask my famous last question, which is also William's last question. Do you have to be happy to write a love song? Do you have to be sad to write a sad song? What is it that you love about music?
I like how much control, if you're a music lover, how much control music could potentially have over you. I am definitely a type of person that, like, even when I get in my car to go to work in the morning, what I listen to on the way to work could make or break my day. If I wake up like in a completely shitty mood and the last thing I want to do is interact with the general public in a retail environment, which those of y'all who've worked retail know exactly what that entails. I'm probably not going to listen to like Limp Bizkit's Break Stuff. I'm probably not listening to Limp Bizkit at all, but I mean, just for example, I'm probably not going to listen to that on the way to work. I will probably listen to something like a little more mellow or something more that I could sing along. If I can sing along with it, that's something I feel like I connect to it better. One of my flaws that I know most people would probably have of me is when I go to a concert, I want to go to a concert of someone who I already know. Like, I know their music. I can relate to them and their music. Even though I live in Austin, which is supposedly live music capital of the world, which it's not right now, but I don't like, I don't like going to concerts of just random people that I've never heard of. Like, I want to hear their music. I want to have a personal connection to it, and then go see that concert. And I feel like once I have established that personal connection, that music, that interaction at a concert means a lot more to me. So yes, I do allow music to kind of help dictate my my emotions, my personality, everything I go through during the day. Again, going back to the fact that like I love putting on music and just editing. Like if I edit video that I don't necessarily have to listen to, or doing graphics for like thumbnails and stuff, I absolutely love that. And yeah, that's probably my personal connection to it.
Love it. Love. Well, it's been such a pleasure to have you on for your birthday. I'm so excited we got to talk birthdays and music and Austin and all of our loves. Guys, after this, you are going over to the Cinefanatics YouTube channel, which is literally right there. So go ahead and click over. Go wait for him. You guys are doing a watch along.
We're doing the
Riley?
Schmoedown. The Schmoedown replay. This is not a reaction like we used to do. We were known for, I guess, being like one of the OG reactors, I guess, like after Late to the Party and whatnot. We don't do just flat out reactions anymore. Just two guys sitting on the couch like, yeah, well, this was a good match. No, we're actually getting people on and interacting and doing more than just sitting there like, yep, I knew that one. So that's what we're doing over there. We've got Mark Riley versus Perry Nemiroff that dropped today. So still haven't watched it. I just got home from work and popped onto here. So haven't watched it. I don't know anything about it. So we're about to go over there with my brother and we're going to watch and play along with that. So yeah, that's why we call it replay, because it's already played once. We're going to play it again. Except for us, we're watching it the first time. So I guess it doesn't make sense, but whatever. I don't care. I'm going to pour some more whiskey and yeah, that was my brother. He's going to be on there as well. So that's still my brother. You're not in frame. There you go.
It's so zoomed in on your face.
I know. I was like, you could almost see
birthday.
You could almost see my Harry Potter scar I have. Oh yeah. Yeah. So
Almost.
I had a basal cell carcinoma grow, and they removed it, and they left this like lightning bolt scar on my face.
I would have requested that. But
well,
like, hey, can you just like extend it just a little bit? Like,
yeah. So once they did it, and they told me how they were going to have to sew it back up, and I was like, oh no, I'm going to hear all the. And I worked at a retail store at that time, and I had a mom like right after I had removed the bandages and it was still pretty fresh. A mom brought her kid up like, "Hey, who is it?" He's like, "Harry Potter." I'm like, "You fucking."
You thought they were gonna have to take skin from your ass.
I was not expecting skin from my ass to go on my face.
Ass face.
Although it would make my face look better.
Oh, shut it. I mean, to be fair, if any kid comes up and calls you Harry Potter, all you have to do is turn, stare him into his eyes and go, Avada Kedavra. White as a ghost. It'll be amazing.
Kill me. Yeah. Of course, I work in a retail store where I'm trying to sell stuff, so good luck selling stuff at that point.
Yeah. I mean, this is coming from somebody who used to sell stuff for Disney. So, all right. Well, I will let you go and get prepped for that. I love you so much. Thank you for being on here. I'm going to do a quick announcements here, but I love you so much. Everybody say bye, Robert. Love you. Mwah. All right, guys. So just a heads up. Next week, I do have Andrew Guy coming on, so I'm super excited about that. And then this week on The Boys show that I have that I'm a part of, it's going to be Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3 p.m. Pacific. Tune in. It's amazing. It's on the Gucciverse. So excited for that. Also, if you're having fun, click like and subscribe. You can join the Patreons, 3 tiers to choose from. We're doing we do monthly hangouts at the end of the month. And then also next month, we're starting to do watch alongs. We're going to do a Halloween version to start it off. We're going to be watching Young Frankenstein. So I'm really excited. It's one of my favorite movies. I watch it every Halloween. So excited. And then after that, we're literally going to be doing like a Thanksgiving and Christmas, and it's just going to be so much fun. But you guys are the best. I love you. Next week is at 7:30, I believe. I'll be posting those earlier than today because my brain shut off. Lost track of time. So everybody, you guys are the best. I love you so much. Thank you for coming and hanging out, and I will see you next week on Movies, Music, and Mayhem.